Wednesday morning here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic, and it is never a dull moment in Philadelphia sports, regardless of the team, right? Joel Embiid misses yesterday's game. He has to get his knee checked up. The Phillies, it's free agency. They want to run everybody back. I'm seeing reports about Nolan Arenado being the big splash, so let's add another 35-year-old player. And then, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 7-2 and had a win. I don't want to say impressive win for the defense, impressive day for the defense, but ultimately just 10 points against the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles go to 7-2, and now we have more storylines to talk about. John Kincade, good morning.
I love the fact that we have a Wednesday, which, by the way, you and I both don't prefer Wednesday, and we've had tons of great stuff fall into our lap on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
we have a great football team, one of the best. And we have storylines that just keep coming in. And today, it's about vindication. It's about vindication, Andrew.
Yeah.
It's about being on the right side of history.
Well, I don't want to be on the right side of history.
No, but we are.
Sometimes.
We are, though. Now the veil is being lifted from all the happy talk. And it's being lifted.
So, all right, let's unpack some things here. So let's go back to Monday night, when the Eagles beat the Green Bay Packers. And there was the 4th and 7 decision with 30-some seconds left in the game, and the Eagles decided to go for it. Where everybody in the world was wondering, what the hell are you doing? Why not just punt to move the Packers back maybe to the 5, maybe to the 10, hell, to the 20 we'll take.
You will take a 15-yard gain in
Packers
in
have no timeouts.
Sure.
They have to get at least 35 yards at that point to try to kick a field goal.
It's a beautiful thing.
Windy conditions, tough time to play in. Jordan Love had gotten nothing going offensively, and the Eagles' defense had been wreaking havoc. Instead, we see the shot play from Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown. What we did not talk about much during the show yesterday was the camera angle that caught Nick Sirianni after the play shouting, "Why?"
3 times.
Why?
There you go.
And what you start to wonder is, what do you mean by why? Was Nick Sirianni upset with the play call? Was Nick Sirianni upset with how the play went? Or is he just complaining about the cold? I don't know. Why is he saying why?
No, he's saying why? Because when you have a plan and the plan isn't followed, you say why? What did you do that for? Why? You're going to say it to Cooper many times in his childhood.
Yes.
And then his teenage years, it's just going to become constant. So you're ready for it.
Our man, Bill Colarulo, who is best buddies with Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni, was on Unfiltered yesterday, and he talked about that decision to go for it, where, again, everybody in the world was wondering, what the hell are you guys doing? We were screaming why. Not only was Nick Sirianni screaming why, but now we may have an understanding as to why Nick was having those comments.
There were a lot of people, rightfully so, critical of the Eagles' decision to go for it on a 4th and 6 with only 30 seconds left in the game at the Green Bay Packers 35-yard line. When the ball got snapped and Jalen Hurts threw a bomb to A.J. Brown down the left sideline, I was shocked. I was furious. I said, that is a terrible decision. However, right before I came on the air, I have been told by multiple reliable sources that AJ and Jalen went rogue again.
What?
If you remember correctly, Seattle Seahawks game 2023, Sirianni came up to the podium, said it was his decision. We found out weeks later from AJ himself. Coach made himself look like a clown. That was me and Jalen going rogue. They did it again. And that is not opinion. That has been confirmed. Now, what I cannot confirm, if they didn't go rogue in that situation, what was the plan? Were you going to take a penalty and punt? Or did you just have another play called that wasn't that? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know AJ and Jalen went rogue again, and that is a problem, Ricky. That is a big problem.
Now, here's the deal. It's not always a big problem because we have celebrated the times, we have to be fair, when Jalen Hurts and the Saquon Barkley wheel route touchdown and Saquon's running off the field saying that wasn't even in the playbook.
Okay.
We celebrate that, right? Like, nobody complained because the result was a touchdown. But what's problematic is that play on the 4th and 6, 4th and 7, just goes against any
Logic.
when it comes to the sport of football.
Any understanding of football, time management, what you do in situational football. Two guys decided to do their own thing. And by the way, as you heard from the comments after the game from Devontae Smith, 1-11 doing their own thing. They do their own thing. They decide again. They decided they knew better. But there's more to this. And you got to it very much yesterday when we were talking about this. There's more to the idea when two players decide, nah, we're doing our own thing.
Yeah, they just don't really like the directive of the offense, whether it's Nick Sirianni's overall conservative approach or Kevin Patullo's specific play calling.
And the call is Patullo's, or we've been led to believe the call in that situation is Patullo's. And there's nothing in the video, by the way, to indicate that he was being overruled on the mic or anything by, that Nick Sirianni was taking the wheel at that time.
Right.
So we have to assume that it was Kevin Patullo's call, and Jalen and AJ said, nah, we're not doing it his way. And we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
It is the frustration with a guy who is not ready for this job.
Yeah, look,
I mean, it's flat out.
They're 7-2, right? Which fantastic.
It is.
Right?
It's great.
They're very happy they're 7-2. But as I said yesterday on the show, and I we even talked about it with Andrew DeCecco, even though he was a little bit more positive about it. I'll break it down, John. We talked about this on post-show headlines. I'll try to find the exact number. There have been more bad quarters for the Eagles offense than good quarters.
There is no question.
I know that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Despite them being 7-2, there have been more bad quarters. Again, back to the top of the league of 3-and-outs in the NFL after this past game against the Green Bay Packers. There's something to that. Now, you are very fortunate that you're 7-2, and hopefully you can find ways to turn things around. But they have to cut the crap now. Like, you got a major game against the Detroit Lions coming up. Major game. And we got to be on the same page. Now, here's the deal. It doesn't just stop there. So last night, what time was it? Do you have any idea?
1:30 in the morning, when almost probably everybody listening here, and I know everybody on our show, was asleep.
So 1:30 in the morning, A.J. Brown was on a Twitch stream with this guy named Janky Rondo. This is a world.
By the way, he's world famous.
Yeah, no, I know. This is a world that I'm not in. It's
and you play video games. Too. Right.
Watch me play video games, and I'm going to talk. But guys like Janky Rondo have friends and connections, and he has a guest like A.J. Brown on. And A.J. Brown was speaking with Janky Rondo, and we'll play you the audio. And first, I just want to say this right away. We are sensitive to mental health. We are. On this show, we are sensitive to mental health. And you hear Janky Rondo asking him about it, and A.J. Brown's response about football. We think, here's the exchange.
Hey, but look, everything be good though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything be straight. You know what I'm saying? Mental good, kids good. You know what I'm saying? Wife good, everything.
Yeah,
Let's go. Trimmer.
Where have you been?
No. I'm just checking up. Like, you my dog. Like, I still got, you know what I'm saying? I gotta check up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like family good, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else, no.
Man, everything gonna click, bro. Chat, look. Everything gonna click, bro. Trust me.
Show.
Hey, bro. No, you got chat cracking up, bro.
How you been? Struggling, brother.
All right, so in case you had a tough time listening or hearing that, I wrote down what was asked and what was said. Janky, I'll call him.
Yeah.
Mental good, kids good, wife good, everything. And A.J. Brown says, no.
Have you been paying attention?
Where have you been?
Yeah.
No. Family's good. Everything else, no. Bleep show. I'm struggling, brother. Now, here's the deal. We don't know if they were talking football in that clip. That could have just been
No, we do.
Hey.
I mean, the way he sets it up, it's absolutely is. Look, he's saying a sheesh show. He's not talking about his HOA.
No, it could be.
He's talking about football.
He could be talking about his life. Again, I don't want to.
No, because he says life is good, family's good.
I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible to mental health. I don't want to assume that it's necessarily just about football. I don't want to totally assume, but it's hard not to assume, to your point.
He's on there because of who he is.
It's hard not to assume considering the cryptic messages that have been happening throughout the course of the season. So, he'll be asked about this later on in the week.
Because, oh, no. And again, if you're one of those people who says, here's Philly media again, stick a sock in it.
He's the one that's
this is
saying
AJ once again making it all about AJ.
I saw somebody already on social media say something to the extent of, here we go, making something out of nothing.
Out of nothing. Everything else, no. It's a she show.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
it's everybody making it out to be nothing.
Never a dull moment. So coming up next, here's the deal. I will ask our question of the day for you at 610-632-0975. It's about those 7-2 Eagles, but also with all that you just heard from Bill Colarulo, from A.J. Brown himself, the Eagles have 2 weeks to calm down a lot of nerves. I'll tell you why they have 2 weeks. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Sean.
Here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. A lot to unpack from yesterday and early in the morning, even earlier than when we wake up, Johnny.
We're not playing video games at 1:30.
Bill Colarulo telling the world that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown went rogue on that final play on the 4th and 7 Monday night against the Green Bay Packers. And then A.J. Brown going on a Twitch stream talking about how everything's a bleep show. And
his life, his family are good.
yes. Well, no, he said his family. He did not say his life.
No. He says it because RJ says it to us in other parts of the conversation that we didn't play. He talked about life is good. Life is good.
Well,
everything else is not. That's your job.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Football is not great right now for A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles. So here's the deal. Before I ask the question for us to discuss, the Eagles have 2 weeks to calm my nerves, and I would imagine many people's nerves. I know there's a lot of people that like to put their head in the sand when stuff like this happens, and I get it. You want to fan the way you want to fan.
They bought his jersey. They just want to believe everything.
And not just A.J., the whole offense, right? Like Jalen, right? I saw the positive. I already got one tweet this morning. I think it was our buddy Tommy Reardon. Yeah, Tommy Reardon.
What's up, Tom?
Positive spin zone. Glad to see that 1 and 11 are capable of communicating.
Oh, jeez.
Right? But, like, that's what people do. Connor's nodding his head in there. I don't give a damn. Like, no. Sometimes communication should also be logical, and it was a dumb decision. The Eagles have 2 weeks to calm my nerves. You guys know how I already feel about this game against the Lions. I don't think the Eagles are going to win. I'm telling you on Wednesday. I'm sorry. I think this is – I'm glad they got the win against the Packers for a lot of reasons because I do not think they – come back and beat the Detroit Lions. I'll be very surprised, happily surprised if they do. But if they lose the Lions and then lose to the Cowboys the next week, 2023 has been mentioned by people all season long.
Well,
right?
now that we see this is going on, AJ and Jalen going rogue at the end of a game, things like this, I don't want to hear from anybody
that it has nothing to do with that.
Oh, it's nothing like 2023. No, this is a lot like 2023.
There's drama.
There's constantly.
There's offensive coordinator questions.
Correct.
There's, hey, Nick Sirianni, when are you going to, take over?
When's Nick Sirianni going to be the adult in the room?
There's a lot of things that are pointing to 2023. And I still hope that we are wrong about that. And I will still rely on the reporters in-house, like the Jeff McClains and Andrew DeCecos, that tell us they do not get that sense, all right? And I hope that is the case. We'll speak with Jeff McClain later on this morning.
Well, the thing is, though, if they're giving us there's not that sense, they're wrong on AJ. They're absolutely wrong on one of the key components of the offense. Doesn't agree that everything's okay. That everything's all right.
True.
In fact, all the happy talk, I think most of the Eagles press corps has been giving us a lot of happy talk. The Patullo thing, it's not a big deal. Oh, yeah, they love Kevin Patullo. They love him. Yeah, as a person,
they probably
they probably do. They're probably happy to see him get a job. They're not happy with the job performance.
No.
Not when you're ignoring your coaches, you're not happy.
And this isn't the first time. It's just this one was a negative result. Right, like again, there have been times over the course of the season where Jalen Hurts has had the ability to check into something at the line of scrimmage, and we celebrate it when it goes well. This one was just like, no, I don't agree with this decision at a really weird time, right? With 30 seconds left in the game, you gave the Packers a legitimate shot to at least force overtime, and then who knows what happens. It's not like the Eagles' offense was motoring downfield, so who knows what ends up happening in that football game. My question at 610-632-0975, Johnny. How do people balance knowing the Eagles are 7-2 while knowing, unless you completely bury your head in the sand, that it has not looked great? We have constant drama. It's your choice if you just ignore it all. Absolutely your choice. But how do you balance the fact that you know the Eagles are the number 1 seed in the NFC, which that alone, impressive. I don't care what team you are.
No.
I don't care if you're the Eagles or the Colts. It's impressive that you are the number 1 seed this deep into the season. But you also know by watching these games it has not been pretty. And if you follow some of the storylines closely, you know that there's been a lot of drama surrounding this team. How do you balance it? We'll discuss that as a show coming up next. We also want to hear from you on the text line at 610-632-0975. Now, speaking of the Lions, and of course, speaking of Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, and this offense, What did Dan Campbell do that Nick Sirianni seems reluctant to? We'll discuss that next as well. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers take down the Celtics. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers took down the Celtics 102-100 last night in another thriller between the two rivals. Justin Edwards had 22 points off the bench, his best performance of the year. Tom McGinnis calling a big bucket to put him up late.
4:45 to go. Maxey with it. Cross court. Edwards, another shot for three in the lead. Justin Edwards is on fire. He looks like Andrew Toney.
What a call there from Tom McGinnis here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And with time running down, Kelly Oubre had a big-time rebound and putback that would be the game-winning basket. Sixers are now 7-4. They're off till Friday. Joel Embiid did sit last night with right knee soreness. That is not the knee that he's been having trouble with this year, but imaging revealed no structural damage, so he's listed as day-to-day. The Eagles had some surprising news yesterday as it was reported that newly acquired corner Jair Alexander is stepping away from football to focus on getting right physically and mentally. The Eagles have just traded a 6th-round pick to Baltimore for Alexander. Nick Sirianni will meet with media today at 12:20. A lot for him to get into. The Flyers host the Oilers tonight at 7:30 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. We'll talk to Adam Schefter of ESPN at 7:55. Jeff McClain at The Inquirer at 8:25. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Terribly. Scanning our YouTube chat, I saw a comment from Mopar, who, of course, has to go with, oh, here we go. Well, there is something to this story.
We created this story, by the way, Mopar. We were the ones who did this. AJ had nothing to do with it.
But
You know,
apparently,
we created it.
apparently, Mike Sealski had a column today, and Mopar read it, and it mentions where fans are apparently never satisfied. This isn't like I am satisfied that they are 7-2. I am hoping that they can get back to the Super Bowl, and I have not seen what they did offensively against Green Bay will not get them back to the Super Bowl. But I am not sitting here telling you that they won't get to one, right? It's just like
exactly
they can't play like that offensively. They can't.
No.
And I think everybody's big enough, big boy, big girl, to say, yeah, that's not good enough to get back to the Super Bowl. The defense, what you saw against Green Bay, absolutely can get you back to a Super Bowl. We need to see more out of the Eagles offense. And unfortunately, for the majority of time this season, it has been more bad than good or subpar, however you want to term it, because if you want to be easy on Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni and our beloved Philadelphia Eagles, it has not been as good at times this year. All right? So our question, how do you balance knowing that the Eagles are 7-2 and the top seed in the NFC? If the playoffs were to start today, they have a bye. They would not be playing today if the playoffs started today.
They don't.
But you also know it hasn't been great. And you also know that there's drama surrounding this team, sometimes considering just one person in A.J. Brown. You could text the show. You could call the show at 610-632-0975.
Well, what other player is creating drama?
None.
No other player is creating drama. Every other player is going to work, shutting their mouths, keeping things in-house, not making things an issue.
Now, you could say that Jalen Hurts going rogue
No.
is dramatic.
But what did I say? No one is not. They're not speaking. They're keeping things in-house. Jalen Hurts has done nothing but be supportive of Kevin Patullo.
But hold on. We've got to always keep it 100. We were critical of Jalen for not opening his mouth in 2023 and allowing Nick Sirianni to throw himself under the bus. And
sure.
And that did lead to
I'm talking
led
about
to
now.
issues.
Yeah, I'm talking about now, though. We were talking about you asked the question about now. The only person creating drama around this team right now is A.J. Brown.
We will also have a conversation later about a guy who's stepping away from football that might be creating a little bit of questions.
Well,
No, he's
saying
not
right or
creating
wrong.
drama.
Yeah, he's been here for 5 seconds.
He's not even a part. And I said it the other
I don't
day.
even think of him as an Eagle.
I said
ever.
it the other day on the air. It was a BS excuse, and I called it a BS excuse on the air. He was completely healthy. There was no reason he shouldn't have played in the Green Bay game, so there was something else going on.
Yeah, we hope
now
everything's
we know.
We hope everything's okay.
Everything's okay with him, but there was a reason, and I said it on the air too. There's a reason the two organizations said, "Nah, we're good. We're good." And that's part of the reason. You guys, there's people that you got to be able at this point to count on. He's not distracting anybody within that building.
No, he's just
They don't even know who he is.
So I'll ask you guys, what's your response? How do you balance knowing the Eagles are 7-2, knowing it hasn't looked great? Like, because I don't want to just come in here every week and be like, oh God, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like
You're the defending champs.
and yesterday,
What's the standard?
Yesterday was a damn party with the Eagles defense, but it wasn't with the Eagles offense. I'm not saying you guys ignore. I know there are a lot of people that will choose to ignore issues, and at the end of the day, they see a win, right?
What's the standard?
And they're happy.
What is the standard when you're the Super Bowl champions? Is the Super Bowl champions supposed to have a standard of you can look like crap and like be happy? Look, we're happy. They're happy. I guarantee you. Well, it's clear. There's unhappiness in that building.
There is.
There's unhappiness within amongst them. Now, most of the guys though are professionals. They know how to conduct themselves. It's like they understand the big boy world. They don't have to air everything out on a video game stream. They know how to behave. They know how to say, it doesn't help us in any way to meet our goals by going out and letting the public in on what's going on behind closed doors. Because they have every opportunity. They got Jeff McClain and Andrew DeCecco and Zach Berman and everybody else, Tim McManus, that they can talk to at any time. They could air their grievances. Most of the guys don't. Or any of them, in fact, this year, don't. They support Kevin Patullo publicly. They do these things because they know it's not how winning teams get things
because
done.
it's counterproductive.
Correct.
Now, I don't know if this would be counterproductive, but there is something that Dan Campbell did last week that we know Nick Sirianni is reluctant to do, and that was taking over play calling duties.
Yep.
And it's amazing that the Lions' standard to take over play calling duties was scoring 24 points, 17, 37, 34, 38, 52.
Well, he addressed it as the 3 losses. To his credit, Dan Campbell publicly said the 13 they scored at Green Bay, the 17 they scored at Kansas City. They scored 13 at Green Bay, by the way. The 17 at Kansas City, the 24 versus Minnesota, and the 3 losses in the first 8 games. He'd had enough. But also, too, he knew there was grousing in his locker room.
Yeah.
He knew that his wide receiver, Amon St. Brown, was not happy.
Sure.
He knew that there were other guys in the locker room that weren't happy with how the offense was going. They averaged 18 points in 3 losses. Not good enough. And flat out, he took control. He said, I'm taking over. From the guy I hired, John Morton, which, by the way, is egg on his face. That's egg on Dan Campbell's face. I hired this guy. I gave him this power, and he's not getting the job done. So you know what I'll do? Give me the play sheet. I'll call it. And he did this in his first year at Detroit in 2021. Anthony Lynn, same situation. Anthony Lynn was there, calling plays. A guy that he had personally said, I want him being my OC. He took the play sheet from him and took control of the offense. So Dan Campbell says, we're not just going to let things continue to be underperforming and suck. We're going to change things up. And it's going to reflect, and they asked him, he was asked in a press conference, does it reflect poorly on you that for the second time in your 5-year tenure, you're taking the play calling away from an offensive coordinator that you hired? And Dan Campbell goes, I think it's about the team along those lines. Something of, it's about the team.
Sure.
It's not about my personal ego or taking a hit. It's about the team, and I got to do what's best for the team. Nick Sirianni's not doing it to his boy.
Good.
Why?
Because he can't call plays, John. Nick Sirianni's not good at this.
But what if he's better than Kevin
Correct.
McCullough?
That's look.
Now that's for him. That's for him to judge. He might think I have no clue what I'm doing. I can't do this because I'll literally kill this team. I don't know.
I like what Connor. I think what you say is very valid. But the thing is, at some point, the guy you put in the job is not good enough. He is not good enough.
We agree more than we disagree on that point.
Right. So you have to, at some point, say, okay, we must do something different then. We have to do something different. And if I have a guy that can't take the wheel, I got to tell you, it's staggering to me that 5 years into an NFL career, you can't take the wheel.
Okay, well, John, we spent all last year offseason leading into the Super Bowl year telling you why this guy should be fired, and you were the guy who wanted him to keep his job.
I did.
This was the reasoning behind it. And now he's won a Super Bowl, and now because he's not taking control this year, we're flipping over on that argument?
Yeah, Connor, because of the idea is, first of all, arguments evolve. The same situation from a few years ago can be different today.
He won a ring.
That's one thing. It doesn't matter. He won a ring with a competent guy in charge of his offense. Kellen Moore walked in the door with 3 top 5 offenses under his belt as an NFL offensive coordinator. To compare that to Kevin Patullo's situation is flat out ridiculous.
I'm not comparing it.
Well, you are. You said he won a ring.
I'm saying the head coach coached the football team to a damn Super Bowl.
Yes,
and
with
now
a competent offensive coordinator.
It's fair to question if this continues to not progress. Which, right? We all agree the offense is not progressed.
You mean the she show that A.J. Brown tells you?
Is there a way in which Nick Sirianni can find out a way to help the offense? And if he cannot, then we're heading toward another, rough winter.
By the way, he has guys on the staff, and Andrew DeCecca will tell you this. There are guys on that staff who could call plays.
Right.
There are other guys in the offensive staff, but you don't want to demote your best friend, maybe?
Well, they are buddies. All right.
Your buddy.
Coming up next, we'll check our text line. I see our YouTube chat is thrilled because we're always talking about the drama. The drama that is created by...
Not us.
Players in-house.
Yes.
So what do you want me to do? Put my head in the sand?
Exactly.
No, you have to talk about this stuff. So we will get into your text messages next. Also, not everything in Philadelphia sports has to be stressful, right? Well, we have an injury update for you. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about my FanDuel Sports. Eagles have players going rogue. A.J. Brown on Twitch at 1:30 in the morning, but it's our fault, Johnny. Being told that we dragged the story along.
Because it should just be that's not a story. It's not. It's unbelievable. Look, I get it. You bought his jersey. You're a fan of. Look, we're all fans of the team.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this.
You don't have to be a bootlicker.
I don't want to.
You don't. You're not required to just say, "Well, everything the media does is bad." No, this is not a media-created thing. This is one player on the team again creating drama where it doesn't need to be.
So if you're just tuning in, let's play it again, Connor. A couple of clips for you. First, our own Bill Colarulo. And you know what? Maybe we should get him on because I should also ask him, how does he feel about this? Because we know that Bill is a big Patullo Sirianni.
Oh, well, look, Bill was on the wrong side of history with this story. This will give Bill a chance. We'd love to have him on because it will give Bill a chance to be on the right side.
I'll shoot him a text. Come on over. I'll shoot him a text.
Come on over.
Here was Bill Colarulo yesterday at the beginning of Unfiltered talking about the final play, that 4th and 6, where everybody was wondering, what the hell are they doing taking a shot downfield? We later see the video that Nick Sirianni was asking the same question, screaming, why on the sideline. Here was Bill Colarulo's report on what went down.
There were a lot of people, rightfully so, critical of the Eagles' decision to go for it on a 4th and 6 with only 30 seconds left in the game at the Green Bay Packers 35-yard line. When the ball got snapped and Jalen Hurts threw a bomb to A.J. Brown down the left sideline, I was shocked. I was furious. I said, that is a terrible decision. However, right before I came on the air, I have been told by multiple reliable sources that AJ and Jalen went rogue again. What? If you remember correctly, Seattle Seahawks game 2023, Sirianni came up to the podium, said it was his decision. We found out weeks later from AJ himself. Coach made himself look like a clown. That was me and Jalen going rogue. They did it again. And that is not opinion. That has been confirmed. Now, what I cannot confirm, if they didn't go rogue in that situation, what was the plan? Were you going to take a penalty and punt? Or did you just have another play called that wasn't that? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know AJ and Jalen went rogue again. And that is a problem, Ricky. That is a big problem.
Now, what's going to be really interesting, John, Nick Sirianni speaks today in the 12 o'clock hour. He did not speak yesterday. He was, under the weather, as we could tell from his press conference Monday night.
Yeah, you can understand it. It looked, and then standing out in the whatever.
Brutal cold.
They always said brutal cold.
So Sirianni speaks today. Now, remember, going back to 2023, the Seattle Seahawks debacle, Sirianni, quadrupled down, right? He talked about it after the game. At one point, he talked about how all they wanted to do was try to get a pass interference call. Remember those? That was Nick Sirianni's words. And for 2 weeks, that guy got clowned nationally, right? Here locally, but nationally. Every show, ESPN, Fox, you name it, was clowning Nick Sirianni, saying, what the hell is this guy talking?
You don't do that in that situation. That was dumb.
Right. And then eventually A.J. Brown was the big man that stepped up and said, all right, I got to put an end to this because he's making himself look like a clown. He said those words.
And I have been told by enough people that I trust that is the first time where the conflict arose between AJ and Jalen.
I'm sure it was.
That he was letting everybody behind the curtain, letting Sirianni off the hook, whereas it was along the lines of, dude, just shut up.
Yeah.
He took the blame for it. Just shut up.
So because
which I, by the way, admire. I admire A.J. Brown for not letting his coach be the clown. Not that long, but he did it.
Because this happened just 2 years ago, how does Nick Sirianni handle today's press conference, right? He's going to be told about this report being put out there, right? He's going to probably show his cousin, Bill Colarulo. Somebody's going to show him the video of Bill talking about this, reporting
I guarantee you he's already been briefed.
And then he's also going to be briefed on the A.J. Brown Twitch stuff last night, and he's going to have to be prepared to talk about this because he can't just fall on the sword again if this is being reported and A.J. Brown, who has already once told the true story, does that happen again? I don't know. Speaking of A.J. Brown, this was him last night. He was on a stream. Again, this is out of my
It was this morning.
1:30 in the morning, he's on with this guy, Janky Rondo, who's a video game streamer, and he always gets guests, and A.J. Brown was on it. And here was the exchange between Mr. Janky and A.J.
Hey, but look, everything been good, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything been straight. You know what I'm saying? Mental good, kids good. You know what I'm saying? Wife good, everything.
Yeah, I mean, no. Where have you been?
No, I'm just checking out. Like, you my dog. Like, I still got, you know what I'm saying? I gotta check up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Like family good, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else, no.
Man, everything gonna click, bro. Chat, look. Everything gonna click, bro. Trust me.
Show. No,
Hey, bro. No, you got chat cracking up, bro.
Awesome. How you been? Struggling, brother.
I'm going to guess when he says everything's going to click soon, maybe he is talking. Because, again, he didn't say specifically football.
Janky says everything's going to click.
Janky said everything's going to click.
Not AJ didn't say
and then AJ responded with Bleep Show.
Yes.
And, are they talking football there? And if they are, then here we go again. Right?
What else are they talking about? What else is he talking about? Is his life, his family? He's feeling good. But then and then it's everything else is a sheesh show.
And so now this is something else that's going to be talked about this week. And again, I'm sorry that we have to talk about it. I'm not going to come on here.
Don't apologize for this.
No, because there are people that get upset.
Okay.
And so what I'm just trying to say is this is a freaking story. And it's not just a story for Philadelphia sports media to talk about. This is a story that they have to figure their crap out about in-house. Whether you want to keep it in-house, well, then they could keep it in-house. They don't have to go on freaking Twitch, or they don't have to have Brandon Graham on radio shows last year talking to people about this kind of stuff. There's, for whatever reason, and thank God they won that Super Bowl last year, John, seriously. For whatever reason, there is something that goes on in this locker room that they just can't figure out.
Somebody is not. This is a weakness of leadership in the role of Nick Sirianni. This is a weakness. Now, look, he has a lot of strengths, plenty of strengths. This is a weakness. This is bad because you have to have control of your room. And one thing is, for the most part, in the beginning until the very end, you heard nothing out of the NovaCare complex when you had a head coach. But look, it was a different thing with Doug Peterson because Doug Peterson would get in somebody's face about letting things out of the locker room. Former player, which I think holds a different message when a former NFL player is saying, we don't let this crap get out. And it's one guy. This is one guy doing this. This isn't a chronic problem of all the other guys.
No.
This is one guy. And by the way, yes, Brandon Graham was one of them last year. A problem. Letting stuff out of the locker room. Just, you don't have to talk.
Maybe they
don't
just
have to do this.
You know what? It was right around this time. Maybe they just need to keep doing the drama.
Buddy, they're just repeating last year. This is great. Run back the same play.
I'm sure they're not waking up this morning.
So this Lions game is going to be the Steelers game. And Jalen's going to sit down the podium and say, so is that what y'all wanted to see?
Damn right.
By the way, Joel Embiid was he had his knee looked at yesterday. Fortunately, the update, in case people didn't see it late at night, I didn't. Connor told me about it. No structural issues. He is listed as day-to-day.
And it's the other knee, by the way.
Not the knee that got the procedure. So just another day in the life of being a Sixers fan. They did win yesterday.
They did. It was
came down to the very last freaking second.
And a good comeback.
Well, because I got to tell you about the third quarter again. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A huge night from Edwards. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers beat the Celtics 102-100 last night in another thriller between the two rivals. Justin Edwards had 22 points off the bench in his best performance of the year. And with time running down late, Kelly Oubre had a big-time rebound and put back. That would be the game-winning basket.
Back out top Edwards. 3-point shot in the air. It's long, no good. Rebound, Oubre. Put back good. Sixers lead with 8.7 to go. Timeout, Boston.
Great call by Tom McGinnis here on 97.5 The Fanatic. The Sixers are now 7-4. They've beaten the Celtics twice already this year. 2-1 record against their rival. They're off till Friday. Joel Embiid sat last night with right knee soreness. Now, his left knee was the one he had the procedure on in the offseason, but imaging revealed no structural damage to that right knee. He's listed as day-to-day. Eagles had some surprising news yesterday as it was reported that newly acquired corner Jair Alexander is stepping away from football to focus on getting right physically and mentally. The Eagles had just traded a 6th-round pick to Baltimore for Alexander. Alexander. Nick Sirianni meets with media today at 12:10. Plenty for him to get into. The Flyers host the Oilers tonight at 7:30. That game live here on The Fanatic. Adam Schefter joins us at 7:55. Jeff McClain at 8:25. This update's brought to you by Mattress Firm. Score huge deals and better sleep at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Their sleep experts will find the perfect bed for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas on your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
56 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Get back to this Eagles discussion here momentarily. Sixers won last night, beating the Boston Celtics 102-100. They had a chance, the Celtics, at the buzzer, and the player just completely missed.
What happened there? I mean, that was hard. That looked like you drew up a play for me.
Well, because there was only half a second left. So my guess is he did not want to grab said basketball and then try to dunk it. If you just touch it and then let go, you can't have the ball in your hand with the shot clock expiring because then the basket's no good. But my man completely missed. Sixers catch a bit of a break there because then they would have gone to overtime. And we know that this Sixers team has played enough minutes already. So the Sixers get the win 102-100 on NBC night last night. But something that I just need to point out. Nick Nurse, whatever he does at halftime is not working. I don't know if he's going for a cigarette break. I don't know if my man is going to Lorenzo's Pizza, in the alley. Like I don't know. I don't know what he's doing because the third quarters this year for the Sixers have been freaking atrocious. You want to know how bad they have been this year?
How bad?
Well, how about in terms of them scoring, the Sixers? The Sixers are averaging 23.1 points per third quarter, which is good for dead last in the NBA.
Okay, that's weird because of the way that they come out in games.
The Sixers are allowing 32.5 points per third quarter, which is the most in the NBA. I don't know what Nick Nurse is doing. I don't know if the team's just not recharged to start a second half. Now, they have won these games, some of them, right?
Okay.
The fourth quarter, they turn it back on. But, it's like this Eagles offense, right? You can't just keep up with this. Like, the Eagles can't say, yeah, you know what? Our defense is so good, we're fine scoring 10 points. Like, no, because ultimately it's gonna bite you in the rear end and you're gonna lose. And that's why we all celebrated what A.J. Brown said last year following the Panthers game.
Okay.
Right? Like, we got to figure out this passing offense. Whatever Nick Nurse is doing, he's got to figure out what the hell is going on in the third quarter because you can't every single night either blow a lead because of your second half adjustment or lack thereof, or what if you're already trailing or you're tied and now all of a sudden you're down 16? I mean, look, think about it for a second. They're allowing 32.5 points per third quarter. They're only scoring 23. That's a 9-point average swing. Last night was even worse. They got outscored by 16 points in the third quarter.
They're young. And I am going to give a young team grace. I am going to give a young team that they're figuring stuff out. And I think Nick Nurse is figuring out the talent on his club.
Sure.
And look,
but you're usually starting the second half with the team you're starting the game off with, which you're coming out of the gates great.
There's something about it, but I think it's way. Like, to me, it's way too early to look at it as, oh, man, this is either potentially a problem or a trend. It's too early. But he's still, too. Dr. Frankenstein has had, I think he's had 7 different starting lineups.
Oh, yeah, already.
Or something along those lines. So, to me, he's still in the lab.
Sure. Oh,
he's trying to figure stuff out. So,
no, it's just that's something that needs to be figured out, though. The third, you can't keep playing games where.
I think they'll figure it. I'm confident he'll find a way to figure that out.
By the way, major props to Justin Edwards yesterday. He was the hot hand, 22 points, 8 of 9 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3. He was a guy early on in the season. You're wondering what his role was because Nurse was not really playing him all that much. And when he was on the court, he was not really getting the ball all that much. Last night, maybe it's just hot hand, or maybe Nick Nurse saw something in their previous 18 matchups against the Celtics because it feels like they've played them every other night this year.
We're not a month into the season. They play, 3 times already?
3 times already.
And then they don't play again until March, Amy told us yesterday.
But Justin Edwards, big night yesterday, so credit to him. Sixers get the win, which is always good to see, especially considering the drama that is surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles this morning. As you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia. A Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We'll check our text line here momentarily, but we touched on it earlier. Jair Alexander is stepping away from the sport of football, per Jay Glazer, part of it to work on the knee, part also for his own mental health. Here's the exact tweet from Jay Glazer. Former Pro Bowl cornerback Jair Alexander has decided to step away from football to try to focus on getting himself right physically and mentally before deciding on his future. Alexander informed the Eagles of his decision today.
I did confirm yesterday again, though. he was totally cleared physically to play.
Okay. Well, then I hope he's okay.
So to
mentally.
me, he could have played. So that means if you're focusing on the knee, his knee is obviously good enough to play. It's that he's not ready in the space to be able to play right now.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
And so you hope
Hopefully he
you
does
hope that he figures stuff out, right?
Hope he figures it all out, but they got owned on this.
Yeah.
They got owned on this.
Or you just, nobody thought he was really a big part. I don't know.
Last week I was hearing people saying he was going to be quarterback 2 in the playoffs. We even did that on post-show headlines. I kept saying,
you and I both said Ja'Cory Bennett, though.
And I kept saying, what are people hearing about this guy? He's available for a reason. He was 2 organizations that are great.
Yeah.
I mean, the Packers and the Ravens are great at drafting, finding good talent. They said, yeah, we're good.
By the way, credit to Adoree Jackson still for the way he played better.
And he did.
Considering standards. He played better this past week against the Packers. We'll just see how it looks against Detroit.
Yeah, I mean,
on Sunday.
We will. And Adoree has been a lot. He has been where he's not really even being targeted, which is strange.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that Detroit will have a different plan.
We will
on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see how
I would imagine that they may target him a bit.
So what do we got on the text line, Connor? We've been talking a lot. We've already entered an hour into the show. I can't believe it. The report from Bill Colarulo about AJ and Jalen going rogue on that 4th and 6, 4th and 7. Very reminiscent of what we saw in 2023. And then we have AJ Brown on Twitch last night talking about how everything is a bleep show. MBD on our YouTube chat saying, why do it? Like, why go on Twitch at 1:30 in the morning? Like that.
That's what I asked you earlier. You sort of rolled your eyes at me.
Well, no, I roll my eyes because NFL professional players' lives are so much different than ours.
I got you, but okay. Here's what I'm going to say to you. Here is mental health. You're saying mental health.
Sure.
What you're worried about with AJ Brown.
Always. Yeah.
Okay. Mental health organizations, they tell you things that you can do to help your mental health. Okay? Rest. And the being away from electronics.
Well.
Being away from. Okay. But like we at some point, though, you got to help yourself. If you're talking about mentally, this is too much, and you keep having these things occur, at some point, I have to expect you to help yourself.
Yeah.
And one of the things is probably it's better to rest than it is to be twitching on your video games at that hour of the morning.
But we also don't know, like, for all we know, what time? I don't even know what time the Eagles got back.
It was the night before they got back.
So they got back.
They've been home all day. They got back around 3 in the morning, I believe.
All right, 3 in the morning.
By the time they got home, but that's a day before. That's a day before. They had all day yesterday to be home. They were home all day.
Yeah,
yesterday.
what I'm saying is he may have slept.
Till like
could
6 p.m.
He absolutely could have.
Connor Thomas does it.
He could
right, baby.
I don't think the attentiveness he is as a father, I don't believe that would be the case. I don't believe he's after being away for 2 nights. And AJ is
I don't know what goes on in that house.
No, but what AJ depicts.
Right.
I would imagine that he was a attentive father yesterday.
All right. And then maybe he took a long nap and he was wide awake at 1:30 in the morning.
Could be.
I've had that happen to me.
Could be.
Like,
You pop on the Twitch stream for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Call the Eagles off as a bleep show. Move on with your night.
What do we got on the text line? Our question today, and I know it's a tough question for some people to answer. How do you balance knowing the Eagles are 7-2 while knowing it has not looked great and knowing that there is a lot of drama that surrounds this football team? What do we got?
This texter checks in, says the difference between 2023 and now is they didn't have the championship pedigree. I balance it by not being a prisoner of the moment and trying to give the overall team the benefit of the doubt and not focusing on individual players' issues.
Yeah, look,
but others have to focus on their individual issues.
And that's a problem. Like
today, everybody's going to have to answer questions about A.J. Brown again.
Nick Sirianni will have to be prepared at 12 o'clock today when he speaks. He'll be 30 minutes late. Nick Sirianni's going to be very late to the podium today, and some of it's going to be the A.J. Brown Twitch stuff, and then some of it's also going to be what Bill was reporting yesterday. What else we got on the text line?
All right, this texter checks in, Ben in Bucks County, and says the reason this is not like 2023 is because this defense is that good that they make plays when they need to win games. In 2023, the defense was not good at all, and you knew that if the other team got the ball with a chance to tie or win the game, they would.
So, all right, let me say this. Sometimes I understand. It's like we have issues with this on the show sometimes where we say one thing and we might take it literally, like when we say, legendary or, that kind of stuff.
Right.
When I say 2023, I'm not saying that they're going to fall out of the division race. Because remember, the Eagles lost the division, right?
Yeah,
the Cowboys won the division.
Cowboys snaked them at the end because of the loss to the Cardinals,
right,
on New Year's Eve.
So I'm not saying 2023 like, oh, they're not gonna win the division, they're gonna fall apart that much. Ultimately, everybody's goal was one thing, and it was getting back to the Super Bowl. Or I was the coward that said at least getting back to an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, you had them going to the Final Four.
I was the coward on this show for saying that.
Chicken, I think. What did you say? Chicken sheesh, right?
I think that's what you said.
I think, Connor, you're chicken sheesh for Andrew that day.
This team, when we say 2023, the vibes of it feel like it a lot. The worry of the offense, considering they're both first-time play callers in the NFL, Brian Johnson, Kevin Patullo. Brian Johnson at least called plays in college. Will Nick Sirianni take over at some point? Remember, we never said that with Cal Moore last year.
Never once.
We never said it with Shane Steichen.
Never once.
We said it with Brian Johnson, and that conversation is now coming up again this year. So when we say 2023, it's the similarities of how it feels. It's not necessarily they're going to collapse and not win the division. The division's over. The Commanders aren't coming back. The Cowboys aren't coming back. But these next 2 weeks, if you lose to the Lions, which I think there's a legitimate chance that they do, they better freaking beat the Cowboys, or we're going to have some weird conversations.
As long as they, again, I had said as long as they split the two games between the Lions and the Packers, I was fine. Now that they won the Packer game, damn, I really want the Lion game.
Well, you also weren't expecting comments that were being made and reports that are being made.
And drama.
All right, we'll get more text messages coming up next. Also, did we get a goodbye message last night? It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Well, let me tell you about my house.
Sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
7:12 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Adam Schefter will be joining us coming up at 7:55. We have a pair of Sixers tickets to give away after another fun win yesterday against the Boston Celtics. We will give away a pair of tickets for the Sixers to battle the Clippers. Not sure if the Tree Company will be there. Next Monday, November 17th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sixers single game tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com/76ers. I know Pablo Torre is still diving deep into that story with the Kawhi Leonard weird money
Philly
Tree Company.
Sixers got to do something fun with that. The Sixers must do something fun with that. Like have guys come out dressed as gardeners.
Yeah.
Something like that. You know how
they're
they
not
do
going to.
Yeah, I'd stay away from this
If it was
one.
a Flyers,
Gritty
Gritty would.
No, they would. I mean, but they've been doing they've been pretty creative lately. And remember, but Big Shot won't be there, so he's not going to be there.
Hip-hop.
And no, Hip Hop's not going to be there. Big Shot's not going to be. They used to do more
stuff like that.
edgier, gritty stuff.
Yeah, we'll see what they end up doing. But
I'd love to see it.
We're going to give away a pair of tickets to the Sixers-Clippers game after our conversation with Adam Schefter. We'll do the Know the Schefter. It's always good to listen to Adam Schefter. And so we will have a Know the Schefter question afterward. And maybe
Sounds good.
Maybe it's about A.J. Brown. Who knows? All right, did we get a goodbye message last night before we get back to our text line on our Eagles question where we are asking you, how do you balance knowing that the Eagles are 7-2, one seed in the NFC, while also knowing it hasn't been pretty and there's also more drama? Harrison Bader took to social media yesterday, and I guess it felt like a goodbye.
No, it's bye-bye. No, that was a goodbye. He flat out told you he's gone.
No, he did not flat out. Let's not misrepresent this.
Here's the post.
Okay, read it.
Philly baby. 2.5 months was not nearly enough, but that's all the gods had in store for us this year. To the ones who made it happen, thank you. To every screaming fan, I love you. And thank you to a clubhouse I'm humbled to have been a part of, especially. Thank you. This game is a gift, but you, Philly, are a bleeping gift. Spelled gift, G-I-P-H-T.
Yeah, throw in the PH for Philly.
Ah, look at you.
Come on,
very
bro.
confused.
Wait a minute. Seriously now.
Yeah, it's
Come on now.
sometimes the pandering.
Drink more
Slow.
coffee.
Now,
Yeah.
look.
Pander less. How about that?
He's gone. He's gone.
Well, he said this year.
yeah, he's
Just
gone.
2025.
No, it's a goodbye message. It was a pleasure. It was an honor to be here. No player who's on who thinks he's going to be here next year is sending that message. Then he is the Phillies are making decisions about signing guys now. He got word. He's gone, and he decided to make sure the baseball world knows I'm available.
I'm available. Somebody
I'm
called
available.
me.
So he's looking good for him.
Yeah,
Good for
I
him.
mean,
go
look,
find what you got to
We
find.
talked about this last week. Harrison Bader was not a player that you're like, I want to empty the bank for. I just wanted a consistent presence in center field that I feel comfortable with because I have not had that in, I don't know, Shane Victorino.
Pretty much forever.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, think about it. Let's go back the last couple of years. You've had Brandon Marsh, who's not a center fielder. You've had Johan Rojas, who is a good center fielder at times, but his head sometimes not on straight. Roman Quinn's a disaster. They tried Scott Kingery. That didn't
Odubel
work.
Herrera.
Odubel Herrera. You want to talk about 10-cent head.
Ben Revere.
Nick Williams, Ben Revere, Aaron Altair. Now, of course, I'm going through the 10-year playoff drought, but, it's been since Victorino that you've had a center fielder where you go, all right, I trust that guy to play him every single day. Not a platoon role. He's an everyday center fielder. He's going to make the plays in the outfield, and he's going to do something for you offensively.
But you didn't think that Bader was, just to be clear, because before anybody spins it that way, you didn't see Bader as that kind of Victorino-type player.
No, I just saw him as a consistent presence in center field that I know that I can pencil him in the lineup every single day. There's going to be days where he can bat at the top of the order. Most of the time, he'll bat toward the bottom of the order. But you know when a fly ball will be hit in the center field, you have a general out there. You have a guy that will make plays.
Exactly.
You have a guy that playing center field is different than playing left or right. There is a big difference. You have to cover more ground. And Harrison Bader did that up until his injury.
It tells me that, in my mind, that they know that they want to make sure that the center fielder they have coming up in Justin Crawford is getting to play the position that he wants to play.
Well,
and I found two things yesterday after this message went out.
Yeah.
Where Justin Crawford speaks, and Justin Crawford speaks of his comfort level of being a center fielder.
Yeah, he wants to play. For
He
whatever
wants to play
reason,
center
there's because I always see whenever like the Bader conversation comes up, somebody on YouTube or somebody says, Justin Crawford, duh. A lot of baseball people pencil him more in as a corner outfielder,
That
more
is
so
correct.
left field. But if they're going to go
as a young guy, maybe
I'm fine. I'm fine with trying it out in center field, but I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've been breaking down Justin Crawford tape, right? Like
No, but you're saying as far as you do know that he is somebody who is comfortable. He's comfortable in being a center fielder, and maybe as a young guy, when you know he's got the wheels to do it and everything, you let him play center field. You're gonna look. He's part of their long-term future.
Yeah, he absolutely.
They've made that clear,
and he's cheaper. And Harrison Bader would have cost you probably $15 a year, and you're
something like that. Yeah,
you're already looking to allocate money elsewhere. Which, speaking of, I'm excited to get into this with you guys coming up next. Two, not necessarily reports, just plans that I want to read you. One that I know John Kincade will hate. I'll give you that one first. But there's an article on NBC Sports Philadelphia that I read this morning, and it's the first time I saw a plan that I think a lot of people would actually get behind. The question is everyone on the team on the same page? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Let me tell you about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is the #1 sportsbook for same-game parlays. I love them. 2 receptions shy of a SGP from hitting with A.J. Brown. Too bad they don't look his way. From points, rebounds, to threes and assists, FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay for basketball. Of course, you can track every live stat, all in a one easy-to-use app. And right now, it's the perfect time to join because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players that you love the way that you want. If you're somebody that loves betting the overs like I do for 3-point makes, because you know that those 3-point shots are being chucked up left and right. That's something that I like to do. Head to FanDuel.com/Fanatic. That's FanDuel.com/Fanatic to sign up today. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. You got to be 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-triple bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another win over Boston. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers took down the Celtics 102-100 last night in another thriller between the two rivals. It was their third matchup so far this season. Sixers won 2 of them. And Justin Edwards had a huge part in that win last night. 22 points off the bench, his best performance of the year.
4:45 to go. Maxey with it. Cross court. Edwards, another shot for 3 in the lead. Justin Edwards is on fire. He looks like Andrew Toney.
Great call there by Tom McGinnis here on 97.5 The Fanatic. With time running down, Kelly Oubre had a big-time rebound and putback that would be the game-winning basket, and the Sixers are now 7-4. They're off till Friday. Joel Embiid sat last night with right knee soreness. It is not the knee that he's recovering from a procedure on, but imaging revealed no structural damage, so he's day-to-day. The Eagles had some surprising news yesterday as it was reported that newly acquired corner Jair Alexander is stepping away from football to focus on getting right physically and mentally. The Eagles had just acquired him for a 6th-round pick at the trade deadline from Baltimore. Nick Sirianni meets with media today at 12:20 p.m. The Flyers host the Edmonton Oilers tonight at 7:30 p.m. You can get that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll talk to Adam Schefter of ESPN at 7:55. Jeff McClain at The Inquirer at 8:25. This update's brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Bill Calarulo will be hosting the True Fan Tailgate before the Eagles-Lions game this Sunday, November 16th. Brought to you by True Fan Travel and 97.5 The Fanatic. All-inclusive food, drinks, live entertainment, and a short walk to the stadium. Reserve your spot now at phillysportstrips.com. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 7.
I just had a heart attack during the commercial break. Not a real one, so hopefully anybody that's listening is not suffering from a heart attack
Hope
or
you're all
recovering
right.
from a heart attack. So first off, I like to look at the sunrise because it's beautiful, right?
Okay.
So I go to the back windows, and first off, there are 12. I counted them. 12 dead ladybugs.
Oh, yeah, there's much back there.
Well, no,
There
because the
always are.
cold. They're dying in the cold.
How are they getting inside?
They're getting in through the ventilation system.
All right, so there's 12 dead ladybugs. There was also a wasp, but it died on its leg, like standing. Like it looks like it is about to take flight and attack me.
Well, this cold has done that to them.
But I've never seen it be. It's not on its back. It's not on its side.
It's like petrified.
Yes, it's on its feet. And I'm like, I walked up close to it. I was like, oh my God. I thought it was about to pounce.
Are you allergic?
Whatever. No, I have a phobia of bees.
Oh.
I think you may have explained this before.
When I was a kid, my next door neighbors had a basketball net. I lived in a cul-de-sac, so they had a basketball net.
Of course you did.
Thank you. Between two houses. And their kids were like 10 years older than me, so they were already they were like college, and they let me play with it. And so one day the iron was rusted out, and there was a hornet's nest. And
there was a hornet's nest on the
inside the basketball, the pole that the net sits
inside
on
the
top.
pole.
And so I'm playing basketball, and I just walk up, and like 5 or 10 hornets came out and just beat the crap out of me.
Okay,
I mean,
where did they
head
get you? They get you in the face?
Head to toe.
Oh, no.
My knee was like the size of my head. Like it was a rough day. So I have a phobia of bees.
I stepped on an underground nest once at summer camp. I'm fine.
In summer camp?
Yeah.
I had in Florida, I was walking around barefoot as a kid when my grandparents were still alive. Stepped on a red anthill.
Oh, my
Ooh,
gosh.
yeah, they'll get
That's
you.
terrible.
Bro, my foot I can't tell you how big my foot
It's
was.
big.
I couldn't wear a shoe. Like it
people
was
die. People can die from that.
Thank God I didn't.
So you're lucky with that. I got bit by a brown recluse. That's the only.
Oh God.
And Christina was like, "What is that?" Took the shirt off. I'm going in the shower, and she goes, "What is that?" And I had a welt. I didn't even see it.
Oh.
And so I didn't do anything about it. Then the next day, she goes, "Let me look at that thing." I said, "It's sort of bothering me." She looked at it, and it had like purple and yellow, and
Oh God.
and she's like, "Okay, get it checked out." When we got to there, they wanted it. They sent me from the doctor's office right to the emergency
yeah,
room.
because they're like this guy.
They are like, "Don't do this, idiot."
Oh God. All right, I'm waiting to hear back from our man Bill Colarulo. Maybe he's such a big insider now. I have not heard back.
Well, he'll want to be in because we want Bill to get a chance to get on the right side of history with the story.
Maybe that's why he's not answering.
Because he's been on
about
the
his
wrong
boys,
side.
Kevin
All the
Patullo.
happy talk about Kevin Patullo and everything's fine and this guy's doing a good job. It was obvious that
it is not. It has not been good. But the
Not
Eagles
good.
are 7-2. So what do we got on the text line? Before we get into these two plans that I read for the Phillies this offseason, our question for the audience: how do you balance knowing that the Eagles are 7-2? That is a factor. 7-2. They're the number one seed in the NFC. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. But if you watch the game every single week, which I know you guys do,
Yeah, they do.
you know that it hasn't been pretty. You know that up until last week, the defense has not been that dominant force. We saw it Monday, which was great. The offense has been in shambles at times, and it's very reminiscent of 2023, first-time play caller in the NFL. There's drama that's coming out from the players. They're going rogue, which is reported by Bill Colarulo. What are the people
And
saying?
by the way, nobody from the Eagles, if that report was erroneous,
Somebody would have said something.
no, they would have immediately answered
Shefty
that
or
in some
Ian
way,
Rappaport.
gotten the word out to go, squash this because
Yeah.
it's stupid.
What do we got on the text line?
We got some people coming after the quarterback.
Okay.
Okay.
And Sean in Williamstown says, everyone says that Jalen takes unwarranted shots about his ability, and they will defend him until the end of time. Jalen is a terrible leader. This is the second time he's gone rogue and not taken accountability. True leaders don't go rogue, and if they do make bad decisions, they own up to them. I'm starting to think a lot of the Eagles' problems are Jalen problems.
So, all right, first off, I know the term rogue sounds harsh. It's not the first time they've gone off script, right? Like, we know that for a fact. And we celebrated it when it was a touchdown to Saquon Barkley, right? Everybody celebrated that. And Jalen Hurts did not go to the podium and say, I was the one that called that play, right?
No, he didn't. He absolutely
So
did not.
we can look at it both ways. Jalen Hurts, when they have gone rogue and it resulted in a good play. The Chiefs game last year during the regular season, 2023, the play downfield of Devontae Smith. That was another play where Jalen Hurts at the line of scrimmage changed it. And because it was a good result, we celebrated. He did not go to the podium and said, yeah, guys, that was all me. I was the one that did that. But I understand where the texter's coming from. You're allowing somebody else to take a lot of the heat, and that's something that Jalen Hurts can't just let slide.
No, and you shouldn't be doing that. More importantly, is the idea is that he needs to take it at this point. Learn something. There should not be your coach should not have to take the bullet for you going and doing something like that. And by the way, I guarantee you, with 100% accuracy, that it's something that is not well respected by every teammate. That other teammates are like, dude, a play's called, execute the play call.
Right.
Don't do something that totally was so low percentage. The percentages of completion on that in the NFL, I think that yesterday NFL Live had it like 14%.
Yeah.
So you did something stupid.
Yeah.
Whereas you try to create complete like a 3rd and 10, you're going to get that like 40% of the time.
By the way, I got a tweet earlier from Philly Lady J.
What's up, Jay?
In response to Bill's report yesterday. I agree when this happened in other games. For this game, Jalen and A.J. Brown ignored situational football. That's not on the coach and OC. That's 100% on the quarterback. That was not the time to go rogue. He put a victory in the line. Can't do that. So, yeah, Jalen Hurts deserves – this is not just a screw Sirianni and Kevin Patullo. The conversation is why did they go rogue? Why, like, are they not on the same page as the directive from the coach?
Well, they're not. I mean, they're ignoring it.
Yeah.
And they obviously feel that they can do it without repercussion. That the coach is going to cover for their backsides and not throw them under the bus because he's already shown that he'd done that once.
And you know Sirianni will always do that.
I'm waiting to see today.
Today's press conference, 12:15, I believe, is the
12:20
scheduled. 12:20 is the scheduled time.
Don't miss it because
it'll be 12:45. But in the 12 o'clock hour, Nick Sirianni will have to answer these questions.
And I want to see if Nick Sirianni, look, if this was an erroneous report, they would have squashed this already. Yeah. They have the mouthpieces on speed dial. They haven't. And there's a reason that they haven't.
All right, Jeff Passan. Philly should sign Alex Bregman.
Oh, boy.
I know you don't like that one.
Oh, my God. We're getting older? We're just getting old.
This one you'll like. At least I think. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. Cole Weintraub writes for NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Not a bad writer.
Here's his plan. And I love this first piece to the puzzle.
Okay.
He's one of my more favorite players in Major League Baseball. He would trade either an Aiden Miller or Andrew Painter plus Bryson Stott to acquire Ketel Marte.
Oh.
Now, Ketel Marte is...
My ears are popped.
Ketel Marte is 31, so it's not like
No, but my ears are popped. But, I mean, as far as... I'm interested.
Well, you got eyes in there. What's that?
I don't know that Arizona does that.
No, it's already been talked about since last year. That
I know.
Remember the weirdness?
Anyway, yeah.
Remember the weirdness where he didn't show up and they tried covering and he just straight up did not show up. It's heading toward a potential divorce.
I got you
with Arizona and Ketel Marte.
I like the player. It feels like an out of left field potential trade.
How long is Marte under contract for? 2 more years? Because I've already looked at him from one other article that I'd read. I believe he might have 2 more years left. And to me, getting him that age, I'm not worried about the age at that point. I'm not worried about his age.
No, he's got plenty of time.
How much time?
He would be here until he's 37.
Oof.
Yeah. But I love Ketel Marte.
So do I.
And,
so do I.
Oh, by the way, he's not a platoon player at second base. He bats from both left and right. He plays every single day for
He's
you.
every bit as good defensively, too.
Then
it's not going to be a problem.
Cole would move Bryce Harper to right field in order to acquire Pete Alonso. He also says you could get both Alonso and Schwarber. I don't know how that's
not happening.
I don't know how that's possible. He did not mention a return of JT Realmuto. Maybe that's why. And then he said you lean into the youth. Justin Crawford, if you don't trade one of Miller or Painter, you call them up. He mentions Gage Wood as a guy that could be an early call-up at some point. Oh, here you go. And then trade for a catcher. So he does not have Realmuto coming back. So instead of Realmuto Schwarber, he goes Schwarber Alonso.
And he says Marte comes in here
via the trade. But that's a lot of long contracts.
It doesn't make sense based on what they're telling us about payroll, unless the Phillies are blatantly lying to us about where their payroll is going to be this year, which would be a nice surprise if they go out and spend more, but I don't believe it's going to happen. That's not a realistic scenario.
Unless we don't know what the market is. Like, I still have no idea how the hell Pete Alonso was, like, available last year and nobody wanted him. It was so weird to me.
Supposedly, if you go, there's a great piece by one of the MLB Network guys, but it's an older piece.
Yeah.
That talked about that a very uncooperative, they were not budging on their long-term perspective, what they wanted for long-term. So they were willing to roll the dice for 1 year to get to a better position where they felt. And by the way, Pete did everything he could to get that long-term deal. Somebody's going to give him something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be as long as he wants, but
MBD chimes in. Gage Wood is a couple years away. For the Phillies, yes.
yes, the Phillies are going to make sure he's a few years away.
He's 21. Trey Savage was the Game 1 and Game 5 starters for the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series. He was 22.
Absolutely. Or
So-
the Braves bring up guys at 19 and 20.
So you never know. All right, coming up next. Will
Great
we?
point. What?
No. He doesn't want to back up his. No, I'm kidding. Bill Colarulo's unavailable. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about Petula. I don't.
Well,
I don't
it's all
know.
right. He's on the wrong side of history. He'll have a chance to correct it today.
We have Adam Schefter coming up at 7:55. What is the latest on A.J. Brown? We don't need sources after what we heard last night. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Let me tell you about something that's back in. Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Adam Schefter will join us coming up at 7:55. I know that you have made contact with Mr. Schefter. Is
Yeah,
that
just
correct?
trying to say is they're getting onto this one, and I already know that Hembo and them are working on it for Get Up and things like that too. So this is not, again, this is even the national media is picking up on everything that's going on because AJ keeps making it a story.
So last night, if you're just tuning in, you didn't hear it in the 6 o'clock hour. We'll play it for you here now. A.J. Brown was on Twitch.
With Mr., as you said earlier,
Janky.
made me laugh so much. That was
Janky
great.
Rondo. Now,
Mr. Janky to you,
Mr.
I should say.
Janky. I saw one of our commenters, I believe it was our buddy Mopar, saying, who is this guy?
What?
This is a
Janky?
guy. This is a guy with 73,000 subscribers to his Twitch.
He is a.
So I understand. Like, look, I'm not trying to. I don't know who. I've never met Mopar in person. You guys know me. I'm 30 going on 60. I don't know what the hell a Twitch is. All right, but I know that it exists.
You know what Twitch is.
And I know that there's platforms, and this guy's got 73,000 subscribers. So like, people watch this guy.
Yes.
So regardless of what you think about Twitches and streamcasts or whatever these hells are called,
Brother, you got to get into this a little bit.
no. All I'm trying to say is I'm not naive. I'm not putting my head in the sand. People watch this stuff. People follow these people that do this stuff. And A.J. Brown goes on and says this.
Hey, but look, everything been good though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything been straight. You know what I'm saying? Mental good, kids good. You know what I'm saying? Wife good, everything.
Yeah, I mean, no.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Where have you been?
No, look. I'm just checking out. Like, you my dog. Like, I still got, you know what I'm saying? I gotta check up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Like family good, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else, no.
Man, everything gonna click, bro. Chat, look. Everything gonna click, bro. Trust me.
Show. Oh,
Hey, bro. No, you got chat cracking up, bro.
awesome. How you been? Struggling, brother.
And he's laughing. Another thing, too, being pointed out. Because some of our listeners have watched the entire thing. JT's watched the whole thing. He laughs through the whole thing. So nobody should be saying, let's take mental health seriously on this. He's laughing through the whole thing. He's talking about his situation, and he is laughing. He says, I think that maybe he seems like a guy who's had enough. And he's just laughing at the circumstance, saying, nothing I can do. They're not listening.
He had 3 targets.
That's terrible.
2 catches for 13
By the way,
yards.
we're in on him, right?
We
We support AJ's disgust with it.
Yeah, we are disgusted.
We're disgusted by it.
I watched a team after 15 days come up with a game plan where a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League got 3 targets. Like, I watched the team have 15 days, self-scouting week. And their idea was, let's get A.J. involved twice on the first drive and then not again until the final play when Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown decided to make their own decisions at the line of scrimmage. That's horrible. And so if A.J. Brown is upset, damn right, I'm right there with you. It's just the constant drama that's also surrounding A.J. Brown this year that's become a problem or counterproductive. Now, look, our question this morning at 610-632-0975, how do you balance knowing the Eagles are 7-2 while knowing it hasn't looked great? There are people, and I saw it on our YouTube chat this morning, and I appreciate that this mindset. Yeah, well, with all this drama, they're still 7-2. And so people think that maybe the drama is not enough to tear this team apart. And I hope that that's the case, right? I hope so.
I don't
all
think
I
it's
know
tearing
is
anybody apart.
feel, right? The feel is more like 2023 than it is 2024. In terms of drama, in terms of not really believing the directive of your offensive coordinator and head coach. The terms predictability have been coming out left and right, which is something you heard in 2023. Hell, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN was on this show telling us that a player told him it felt like 2023.
And more importantly, this kind of nonsense going on. And it is nonsense.
Yeah,
because
not necessary.
In the past few weeks, Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith have both, on media availability, declined to talk about A.J. Brown's thing, saying, Devontae Smith, I don't want to talk about another grown man's quotes. So these guys have had opportunities to speak on behalf. They don't want to have to speak about somebody. They don't want to have to do that. This is a distraction they don't need. Nobody needs it. And nobody else on the team, by the way, is doing this. None. They all go about their business, and it is the right way.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be an issue.
All right, hit us with a text message, and then there's two things that I need to bring up.
All right, so we have a check-in on the conversation about how this team is, how you balance as a fan base. And this texter, Pete and Delco, says, the difference between 2023 and how I'm balancing things now is that they won a Super Bowl last year, and the reporters aren't ringing the alarm bells that the sky is falling like they did in that season. Having that championship pedigree makes me feel more comfortable to look at the record over the situation.
And I said it earlier. We talk to Jeff McClain every single week. Jeff McClain has not told us it feels like 23. Andrew DeCecco has not said that it feels like 23. I'm very curious to talk to Jeff later on today, 8:25. So Jeff McClain joins us today, normally on Tuesdays, but because of the Monday night game, he got moved to today. And based off of our last interview or two interviews ago with Jeff, he's connected with AJ. Just a hunch.
He does a good job of bringing AJ stuff to sale.
Yeah.
And he brings it to the market.
All right, two things real quick. This guy's name on the YouTube chat is a lot of numbers and letters, but he said, newsflash, Chunas, the Blue Jays lost the World Series with you, Savage. Yeah, because it was his fault.
Yeah, that was his fault. Yeah, he was terrible.
Come on,
My God, are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
Are you serious?
Now, this one's for Connor. What'd I do? Jackson Dart may not play this week.
I saw it already. That's why the fist pump went up.
They elevated from the number 3 spot to the number 2 spot Jameis Winston.
Oh, my gosh.
Connor's favorite.
Not the 2. Let's be clear. He's starting. Is what they're doing.
He's expected to start if Jackson Dart does not clear concussion.
And that makes you
Right.
smile.
Because
I love it.
Connor is the number 1 Jameis Winston fan in Philadelphia.
Starting Russell Wilson is flat out stupid.
Connor, I agree with you, and it's almost 8 a.m. First agreement today.
Coming up next, Adam Schefter joins us on the latest drama with the Eagles. Oh, boy. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tell you, you're going to absolutely love the experience every time you go to my friends at Benari Jewelers. You've got Exton, you've got Newtown Square. You got 2 great showrooms with 2 amazing staffs that can help you understand about buying diamonds. They hand-select their diamonds directly from the world's premier diamond cutters, meaning you're going to get one-of-a-kind diamonds. You're going to get handcrafted engagement rings. You're going to get one-of-a-kind items that she's not going to find at the big box store. Most importantly, too, talk about standing behind your work. They have their industry-leading 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Your diamond's never going to lose value when you're ready to upgrade it because Benari is a direct diamond importer. You get the diamond she deserves, the ring she wants, and you still stay in budget. Guys, by the way, with the holidays coming up, you don't have to be buying an engagement ring or a wedding band to go to Benari Jewelers because they've got all the top designers and they've got great necklaces and pendants and earrings and things like that that'll be perfect gifts for the holidays. Help Santa out. Go to Exton or Newtown Square. Go to Benari Jewelers, and you can check them out on the web. A little window shopping before you go at BenariJewelers.com.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Sixers win a thriller. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers took down the Celtics 102-100 last night in another great game between the two rivals. They played 3 times this year. Sixers have won 2 of them. Justin Edwards had a huge night, 22 points off the bench, his best performance of the year. With time running down, Kelly Oubre had a big-time rebound and putback. That would be the game-winning bucket.
Back out top Edwards. 3-point shot in the air. It's long, no good. Rebound, Oubre. Put back good. Sixers lead with 8.7 to go. Timeout, Boston.
Great call by Tom McGinnis here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Sixers are now 7-4. They're off till Friday. Joel Embiid sat last night with right knee soreness. That was not the knee that he's been recovering from a procedure on. Good news on that right knee. Imaging revealed no structural damage, so he's listed as day-to-day. Eagles had some shocking news yesterday. It was reported that newly acquired corner Jair Alexander, who the Eagles just traded the 6th-round pick for ahead of the deadline, is stepping away from football to focus on getting right physically and mentally. Nick Sirianni meets with media at 12:10 today, so we'll be listening closely to what Coach has to say. Flyers host the Oilers tonight at 7:30. That game live here on The Fanatic. We talked to Adam Schefter of ESPN coming up next. This update is brought to you by Audible. Stuck in traffic? Audible's romance collection will have you falling fast in the slow lane. Satisfy every side of you with rom-coms, romantasy, and the really steamy stuff. Listen free with a 30-day trial at audible.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. 97.5 The Fanatic.com. 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 The Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. 97.5 The F
I know the Schefter today. Something will be said during this next conversation. And then next segment, we will ask the Know the Schefter question for your chance to win the pair of tickets to see the Sixers take on the Clippers next Monday, November 17th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sixers single game tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com/76ers. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia. A Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. And he joins us on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business get you ready for what's next. From ESPN, he joins us at this time every single week, the great Adam Schefter. Shefty, good morning.
What's going on, guys?
Well, another day
Never dull.
in Philadelphia sports. The Eagles win. If I just told somebody they went to Lambeau Field and beat the Green Bay Packers, you'd be like, all right, that's great. And then we find out that they scored 10 points, and the offense is once again filled with questions. And now one of our own, Bill Colarulo, reporting that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts went off script on that 4th and 6, where everybody in the world was wondering what the hell are they doing chucking it up downfield in that situation. Turns out the players went off script. Shefty, I don't know. Like, when you watch that game Monday night, I know you guys did with ESPN, do you come away with that feeling great that the Eagles got that important win, or do you have a lot of questions about this team?
I feel like they won the game in Green Bay. It's two of the top seeds in the NFC. It's in Green Bay. They won the game. I don't care if they won by 3 or 30. I don't care that they went off script or stayed on script. They won the game. They're sitting there with the number 1 seed in the NFC. Don't care. Like, I know you're gonna try to find something, with the drama and whatnot, but it doesn't matter. Like, they're doing what they should be doing. They're winning games.
Wait a minute. Wait.
At some point,
Try to find something. The AJ, we got AJ Brown going off again. We have 2 players that the head coach after the game takes the blame for the fourth down call, which Troy Aikman just slaughtered on the ESPN broadcast. Yep. And we're not finding stuff, Adam. It's being created.
Well, they're creating it themselves, but they're winning. So you could have the stuff and you could have the win. I'm okay. As long as they're winning, the stuff is fine. It is what it is. Like, they overcame it. John, right?
When they were 10-1 in 2023 and they were having the drama and everything like that, it ended up not being fine. It ended up blowing up, and after the fact, everybody says, even Jason Kelsey, that they were a miserable 10-1 football team. Sometimes it's just not okay, right?
Well, to me, when I look at it, I really do not get bogged down in the little particulars of going off script or staying on script or making a horrible play call in a game when you're winning. To me, their bigger issue. You're doing micro. I'd rather do macro. The NFC conference, I think, is as good and as deep as it has been in a long time. That's an issue. They're going to have to win somehow. If they are the number 1 seed, they'll have to win 2 games against 2 really good teams. If they're not the 1 seed, they'll have to win 3 games against 3 really good teams. And to your point about some of these issues, if some of these issues are not corrected, addressed, fixed, at least handled in some type of way, I don't know that they'll be good enough to beat 2 or 3 teams in the NFC with as loaded as the conference is. That would be my concern.
Have you heard anything about said issues and handling things in-house that have caused any sort of issues within NovaCare? And I'm not just talking about A.J. Brown on Twitch in the middle of the night. Just over the course of the season, the terminology of predictability has come out from some of the key players. This is not the first time A.J. Brown's been upset about the offense. Have you heard that there have been any issues within the Eagles at this point?
Well, I have not heard that, but it doesn't matter that I haven't heard that because every single team has issues. Every single team. They're not immune to them at 7-2. And there may be fewer of them in a winning locker room and a team that is the number 1 seed in the conference. But there's not a team in the league right now that doesn't have issues. So I'm not trying to diminish it, but every team is going through their own battles and their own issues. Like, you're in mid-November now. We're past the halfway mark. Some teams are physically challenged with injuries. Some teams are short on talent. Some teams have nobody is just waltzing through the season on their way to the playoffs and the conference championship game. Nobody.
For the second time in his tenure in Detroit, you've seen, in his 5-year tenure, you've seen Dan Campbell take over play calling.
Yeah.
Because the guy he hired for the job, he is like, it's not good enough, and we need to shake something up.
Nope.
Go on. Did we lose
What was that? I lost you there.
No, we lost you there for a second.
No,
Yeah.
you got me?
Yeah, so I ask you, could you ever see the Eagles taking that situation when there's obvious frustration about how this offense is being called, or you got players just deciding, yeah, we're going to go with our own play call because we, even in the most critical point of the game, because we don't like the way things are being done?
Yeah. I think, let me speak about what I know. Like, in Detroit, they came out the first week against Green Bay and looked terrible. Mm-hmm. And Johnny Morton was the play caller. And my understanding is Dan Campbell got a little bit more involved in the offense right after that game. And they came out the next few weeks and lit it up. And I don't know whether he scaled it back again or he wasn't fully involved, but it was one or the other. And whatever it was, when they're playing Minnesota at home a couple of weeks ago, it was honestly bad. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs isn't on the field. They're not getting the ball to Jameson. Like, you're like, what are they doing? It looks predictable. It looks unimaginative. And lo and behold, this past week, Dan Campbell's got the play card. He's got the headset. Like, we're not even disguising it anymore. Like, he's all in. And Dan Campbell, people forget this, it's Dan Campbell's offense. So he's going back and he's taking back his offense as he should. And he's saying, I'm going to make sure that the offense is right. Now, I don't know how and if that would work in Philadelphia. I don't know that. I don't know whether Nick feels like he needs to do that, wants to do that. I just don't know the dynamics of that, the way that would work right now. I know in Detroit, Dan Campbell felt like he had to do that for the betterment of the organization. And when he's calling plays, that offense is humming.
Shefty, first and foremost, we hope that everything is okay with him, the person. But what have you heard since the report that Jair Alexander decided to step away from football? I know Jay Glazer said yesterday to right himself physically and mentally before deciding on his future. What's the latest you've heard on Jair Alexander?
Well, this was going on over the weekend, and I think obviously it entered into why he didn't make the trip, and I think it was a surprise to those involved. But look, he's not right, and he needs to take the time to see if he can get right, and so he stepped away. And the most important thing is that he does get right, but I think the Eagles obviously were a little surprised and disappointed at the timing of it.
Did they get potentially played here a little bit? Did they know these issues when they made the decision to go trade for him?
Oh, I don't think that. I mean, I think, Jair's had some questions about him in Green Bay and Baltimore. It's not like trying to give up they flipped around. Like, they knew what they were getting. It's not like they gave up a first-round pick or a day 2 pick. Like, they flipped a 6 and a 7 for the guy. We're not talking about anything.
Yeah, but if you knew a guy isn't right, I'd rather have a 7th-round pick.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't think that was the case when they made the deal. I think they knew that they were basically getting a low-risk investment. Didn't know that it would work. Took the chance that it did, and so far it hasn't.
Now, one thing that absolutely worked out was obviously the addition of Jalen Phillips. I know when we spoke to you last week in response, there were people wondering, how did he do it again? Now that they played a game and we saw Jalen Phillips be an absolute beast on the field, what were people around the league saying about the Eagles' defense now?
Well, he looked great. I mean, that's what you want and expect from that kind of guy. And honestly, I think that you had a feeling he was going to play that way when he talked about the fact that getting traded to Philadelphia was the greatest thing that's happened to him in his life. Like when somebody's saying that tells you that they're all in, right? And if they're all in, you're going to get the best of them. And they got the best of Jalen Phillips. And I would imagine they'll continue to get the best of Jalen Phillips, in part because he's so happy, and in part because there's a lot at stake. He's headed into a contract year. So they get the best of all worlds. And that goes back to the trade. Some of these things work out just the way you want, and some of them don't.
What's your gut feel on Detroit coming in here? These two teams, I mean, last year was the year that everybody thought Detroit was going to be the team till they faced all those terrible injuries. Do you think they've really had this one circled to make a statement against the Birds here on Sunday?
I don't think it's. I think Detroit's the most dangerous team in the NFC. That's my opinion from watching these teams. I think all things being equal, they're the best team in the NFC. And if Philadelphia beats them on Sunday night, I'll say to you, boy, that was impressive, and they really showed me something. But when I watch them, to me, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the most explosive running back in football. Amon-Ra St. Brown is money in the bank. Jameson Williams is as explosive as they come. Sam Laporte is one of the best young tight ends in the game. They have an opportunistic defense. They have a point to prove. They're hungry. They've never won the Super Bowl. Again, if I'm looking at it, I think Detroit's the best team in the NFC. Doesn't mean they'll be there in the end, but that's the team that, if I'm the Eagles, that's the team, well, that might be the team that worries me the most, except, again, and we'll get back to my point that I said earlier, the Rams are unbelievable, and the Seahawks are really good. The Buccaneers are pretty good. Like, some really good teams in that conference. Really good. So to get to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to be on your A game or you're not going to get there. So all these little things that they're going through doesn't matter to me very much right now. They got time to figure it out, sort it out, get on the same page before the playoffs begin. They're going to win the division, okay? That's not in question. Question is, can they be the number one seed, which they currently are, heading into Week 11? A chance to do that. I don't know whether they're going to be able to do it or not, but I do know that conference is loaded with great teams.
Now,
loaded.
Lastly, one team that isn't loaded but in the division of the Philadelphia Eagles, what was the final straw for Brian Daboll to be fired by the New York Giants? And honestly, how does Joe Shane survive this and allowed to be the guy that picks the next head coach?
Well, that decision has drawn a lot of questions around the league. Obviously, you're asking me it here. I've been asked it for the last 2 days. It's amazing. Everybody's asking the question. And the ones who answer it are the ones who want to keep them in place right now. So that's the Giants owners right now. Ultimately, it'd be their decision who to hire as the head coach, but they have said that Joe Shane is going to lead that search right now. Brian Daboll fired, like, I don't know, a lot of people thought he was going to be fired at the end of last year. He wasn't. They kept him on. And then I think there were a few things that happened this year. You could take your pick, rank them any way you want, but there were 4 games that they had double-digit leads on the road, and there were 4 inexplicable losses.
Yeah.
At Dallas, should have won the game. At New Orleans, double-digit lead, 5 turnovers, should have won the game. At Denver, one of the great gag jobs of all time, should have won the game. At Chicago last week, 10-point lead late in the game, should have won the game. How many more times do you want to be hit upside the head before you say, we don't believe that the current coaching staff can get this done for us? And I think that they were there. When you factor in that their franchise quarterback also had been sent to the Blue Medical tent to be assessed for concussions 4 separate times, that also is a factor.
Or when his helmet gets knocked off and the next play they have a quarterback design run. That's always a decision to make.
Anyway, they made the decision to fire him, and they made the decision to keep Joe Shane as the GM, and we'll see how that all works out.
Shefty, we appreciate the time as always, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Guys, have a great week. Enjoy the game Sunday night. It should be a great one.
It should be. There he is, Adam Schefter on the Comcast Business Hotline. All right, coming up next, I will ask you the Know the Schefter question. And we also do our second opinion segment, normally on a Tuesday, but the Eagles played Monday night, so we do that coming your way next. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
I love live betting on the BetParks app. You can
dangerous team in the NFC. The first person to text that in at 610-632-0975 will win a pair of tickets to see the Sixers take on the Clippers next Monday, November 17th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sixers single game tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com/76ers. Who does Adam Schefter believe is the most dangerous team in the NFC? Your clue is, if you listen to the show, he and I agree. All right, time now for our second opinion segment.
You might not always agree with what you hear. Sometimes you need a second opinion. Brought to you by the consultants in medical oncology and hematology.
All right, tell us about him, Johnny.
I'm going to go see them on Friday for my quarterly testing, and they're the best. They're the people I trust with keeping me alive. Is there a better endorsement than that?
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, CMOH.org. If anybody in your family gets a cancer diagnosis, they gave me my life back.
All right, second opinion segment is what we do after you sleep on it. Another night thinking about the Eagles game, and there's more thoughts that maybe we didn't get into yesterday. I'm going to go with more on Jalen Hurts not playing well on Sunday or Monday. Now, again, I don't think Jalen Hurts stinks. I think there were throws downfield. A lot of the talking points, John, today have obviously been about the going rogue on the final play, the 4th and 6, and what does that mean about their belief in Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni. It's not just a Patullo thing. It's also the Sirianni belief with how he wants the offense run. But there were throws downfield that could have been made. Jalen did not play well, and it's amazing how, let's say instead of 15 of 26 for 183 yards, it's 18 of 26, like the throw to Grant Calcaterra, and it's 18 of 26 for 205 yards and maybe 2 touchdowns. Are we talking completely different about the coaching staff and the way the game looked? It's not just on the coaching staff. Jalen Hurts deserves some heat from this past game as well.
Yeah, he missed quite a few throws in the flat that he usually doesn't miss. Off one of his best passing performances ever. So
right.
I get you on that one. I looked at it yesterday and watching the NFL Plus replay of the game, being able to look at it a little slower because I can understand it better when I look at it slowly. This defense is really, really sharp. And the push up front made the secondary look better. I've watched every 15-minute game this year. I've watched some of the All-22, and I try to understand as much as I can about what I'm looking at. But one thing I know I'm looking at, the secondary just seems so much more competent when it's just 4 guys up front getting after the quarterback, and they can give extra help to the secondary. They look more than competent to be able to go on a long run, if that's the case, if they're getting the push up front.
Absolutely. And look, it goes back to what I've said numerous times. You can get by with a subpar secondary, not that Quinyon Mitchell's subpar, but like a Dory Jackson. No. When you have a good pass rush. And that's why I always bring up Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills, right? Like, nobody thought they were Revis and Asante Samuel. Like, they were 2 guys that were competent when you had a good pass rush. And then you saw when the pass rush wasn't getting home that they would get exposed. And you saw that so far this year up until the addition of Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith coming back, Jalix Hunt, filling more of a role that he should be in more comfortably. And that's going to help out the secondary even more, which is why I wanted pass rush from the very beginning. What do you got, Connor?
Who do you think is the most important run defender on the Philadelphia Eagles defense?
No,
That's not
who I'm thinking.
No, I think it's Nakobe Dean.
And I strongly agree with you, and he looked really good. I know Josh Jacobs had his moments in that game, but what a difference he makes in diagnosing plays. You could argue it's Zach Bond, too, because Zach Bond has been really solid since becoming an Eagle. But the difference Nakobe Dean makes in getting downhill and just – he seems like he's not making plays 3 yards down the field. He's making plays at the line, and that's something the Eagles didn't have when he was out.
And when Nakobe Dean has returned, just look at the numbers. I know you want to give Zach Bond credit, and I get that. But look at the numbers when Nakobe wasn't there this year, opposing running games, and look at the numbers since Nakobe's returned.
Much better.
It's much, much better.
He
Nakobe
makes a
Dean,
huge difference.
I think he's the biggest difference of all, and I could see that yesterday in the short game.
Yeah. By the way, Josh Jacobs did basically exactly what I thought he would. I said 20 for 80.
Yeah, exactly.
21 for 74, because that's all the Packers have.
And they stayed committed to it, which helped him get those numbers.
That's why the Packers game did not scare me. Now, look, I didn't think the Eagles would only be held to 10 points. All right. So, I didn't think it would be a 10-7 bare knuckle fight.
Did you underestimate the Packers defense? Because I think the Packers defense is really good.
It's not just that. I thought self-scouting week would actually come up with some solutions.
It didn't.
And if anything, it took a step back.
Or was it the opponent?
I give the Packers credit because they were Micah Parsons was getting to the line of getting past the line of scrimmage constantly. He's getting in the backfield. I know.
I only watched one of the short games of the Lions yesterday. I'm going to watch more this week. I got to tell you, there are going to be plays to be made against this Lions defense. I'm expecting
You're
much
also
better,
not keeping them to 7 points.
No, exactly. But a much better offensive performance. This Lions defense is not the caliber of some of these other teams they played.
All right, the latest on the Eagles in-house. Jeff McClain joins us next. This is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
I love Dan White and Associates, and I love. I'm going to be part of their drive-by tomorrow over at Dan White and Associates, right down there in the Glen Mills area, where you can actually, make a donation. You can drop off some canned goods. You can drop off some unwrapped toys, things like that, getting ready for the holidays, and then you can drive away with a pie for the holidays. How about that? They take good care of the people because they've been in the community now for around 40 years. How do you stay in the community for like 40 years? People trust you. They know that you are great for people just trying to get financial planning advice or retirement planning. And they will stress test the current retirement plan that you have, and they're going to say, hey, what are your unique needs? Let's address them. Let's make sure that you're on the right track to have the retirement that you want. Are you going to be able to create enough revenue for yourself? Are you going to be able to have enough money there to be able to do the things that you want to do when you are in retirement? They offer a complimentary no-risk consultation, and they host educational seminars that you can go and be a passive listener if you wish in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. That complimentary no-risk consultation, though, will let you be exposed to their team, and I think you're going to really, really feel comfortable. Check them out. Go to danwhiteandassociates.com on the web. Come on by. I'll be there tomorrow afternoon hanging out with them from 2 to 4. Dan White and Associates in Glen Mills, they are the best.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A big night off the bench. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers beat the Celtics 102-100 last night. It was another classic game between the two rivals. They've played 3 of them already this year, and Justin Edwards had 22 points off the bench in his best performance of the season.
4:45 to go. Maxey with it. Cross court. Edwards, another shot for 3 in the lead. Justin Edwards is on fire. He looks like Andrew Toney.
It did have a bit of the feel of that Boston Strangler, didn't it, Tom McGinnis? A great call here on 97.5 The Fanatic. With time running down in the game, Kelly Oubre had a big-time rebound and putback that would be the game-winning basket. And the Sixers are now 7-4. They're off until Friday. Joel Embiid sat last night with right knee soreness. That's not the knee that he's been rehabbing, so a little concern there. But imaging revealed no structural damage. He's day-to-day. The Eagles had some surprising news yesterday as it was reported that newly acquired corner Jair Alexander is stepping away from football to focus on getting right physically and mentally. Nick Sirianni will meet with media at 12:20 today. He's got a lot to talk about. Flyers host the Oilers tonight at 7:30. That game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll talk to Jeff McClain of The Inquirer coming up next for the latest on the Birds. This update's brought to you by Aleve. Traffic and body pain can slow you down, but don't let the pain stop you. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief so you can keep moving. Use as directed. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
7:27 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll be joined momentarily by our man, Jeff McClain. You got to experience the new look of Inquirer Sports, where fans can read, watch, and listen to their favorite reporters and columnists. Go to inquirer.com/sports. And he's going to be joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. Of course, the Eagles got a great win. The fact that they won in Lambeau right away was a happy day. It's just once you start unpacking it more and more, other than the defense, you're not really feeling all that great from a 10-point performance from the offense. And one of the big stories is what went down on the final play for the Eagles offensively. So let's talk to our man, Jeff McClain, about it. Jeff, good morning. First off, how you doing, brother?
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
So the end of the game for the Eagles offensively, the 4th and 6, the shot downfield to A.J. Brown. I know Nick Sirianni spoke after the game and said, look, when it works, you give each other high fives. When it doesn't, you sit down in the office and you try to figure out if that was actually the right decision. Now there's been more talk that maybe this was Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown going off script a little bit. What have you heard about the Eagles' play on the 4th and 6th, where I think everybody was wondering the same thing? Why that one?
Yeah, I think it's what we saw the Eagles pull off successfully in Minneapolis when A.J. and Jalen checked to another play and kill shot and won the game, and then what happened in Seattle in 2023 when they did the same thing and it didn't work. And so it was obviously in this case much more like the Seattle game, although they won this game and they lost the other one. So if they have the leeway there to do that, I think the bigger question is, that's not what you want from Nick Sirianni, but I think what would probably have been the better idea would have been to take the delay there and then kick it. And I don't think that was the plan based upon what it looked like they were, lined up to do.
And when the coach is saying why on camera after they did the play, it's obvious that he wasn't on board with what they did. I mean, he obviously
he wasn't. He was
frustrated. Well, but the thing is, Jeff, it's not like the Minnesota game. That was a 3rd down. And there was time left on the clock. This is the last play where the Eagles have the ball. There were so many smarter things to do that it was so reckless what they did.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm writing on deadline, trying to get my report card done. So like at the time, I'm just like, oh, that was stupid. And then I was also kind of another reporter were kind of looking on whether what kind of effort AJ gave on the play. And then rewatched it. I don't think there was much that he could do there. Probably realized it was dumb even as the ball was floating up in the air. But yeah, I mean, they have that luxury, but that was not. And I wasn't there for Hurts after the game, so I don't even know if he was asked about it, quite frankly. But yeah, I mean, and of course Nick's explanation, much like it was after the Seattle game, didn't really make much sense when he was asked about it after the game. I was there for that. That was just probably another case of him just taking it for his players. But no, not a wise play.
So what are you expecting today during his press conference? Because it is crazy how reminiscent it is of 2023, where it looks like Nick Sirianni fell on the sword. So much so in 23 where he was just ripped like all over the national media. A.J. Brown, when he finally comes out and says, look, that was on us, he made himself look like a clown. You know the PR staff at the Philadelphia Eagles, they're tremendous. How prepared is Nick Sirianni to answer the questions today? Because they're coming with the latest reporting that maybe it was Hurts and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I guess they'll probably fall on the sword again, and then maybe Jalen and AJ. Now, if you recall in 2023, AJ was the one who kind of came out and said, "No."
10 days later,
that was on us.
Yeah.
Jalen, no, not so much.
Is that sort of when someone's talked about being a great leader, and AJ and Jalen's talked about his great leadership qualities and work ethic and things like that, but not taking ownership of things that you do or letting your coach take the bullet for it. Does that sound like leadership to you? I mean, because to me, it doesn't.
Well, again, like I wasn't there for Jalen, so I don't even know what he said after the game. I was writing about Jalen Phillips and the defense, so I wasn't even there for that. So I don't know what he said, so I don't even want to jump to any conclusions about anything. I do recall, though, in that moment in 2023 when I actually asked him about it, because again, it had been a little while until after the Seattle game before we found out really what happened and what went down there. So then, I think people have forgotten. So then I remember I directly asked Jalen about it, and I think, I guess maybe he wanted to move on too. But look, I think Jalen's a pretty good leader. I'm not going to take, one example and hold it against him, and make a general statement about what he is as a leader. But typically, yeah, you do want your quarterback, and for the most part, he generally does take accountability publicly for when he doesn't make plays. There have been a few times that maybe I thought he could have done a better job of it. Internally, that's probably what's most important. And I've seen it before on both sides of the coin. Guys are great at it, and guys who aren't as great at it. Look, Jalen won a Super Bowl, went to another one. I'm not going to sit here and question his leadership skills.
Is there anything sort of bubbling below the surface when it comes to Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown sort of going off script when it comes to the either play calling of Kevin Patullo or the offensive mindset that is Nick Sirianni's? Because we celebrate it when it goes well, right? Like, we have seen them go off script and it lead to a touchdown. And then obviously this moment Monday night was the opposite, where you almost cost yourself a team a loss, or maybe you could have gone to overtime. Who knows what happens then? Is there something where some of the players are going, yeah, we don't really like the directive of this offense, so we feel the need to do some things on our own at times?
Yeah, I don't know about that. But these are, like, I think there's just a little too much being made of this kind of like going rogue sort of thing. This is like built into the office. This is what quarterbacks have at their disposal, right? I mean, you want your quarterback to have the ability to change plays at the line of scrimmage based upon what he sees defensively. That's just what modern quarterbacking is. I mean, not even modern quarterbacking. That's what quarterbacking is. Now, there are quarterbacks who have more leeway versus others. To me, I don't think this is a huge deal. To me, the bigger issue is just about other parts of the offense and what's going on. I know your question is generally, it's like, okay, it's about the tool and the play calling. I don't think that's what this is. I just think that this is just part of the offense, and this is what happened, right? This has always been there. And I was there with Brian Johnson, was there with Shane Steichen. So I don't think this is like sort of like a revolt. No, that's not it. I think the bigger issue is just like, okay, what's going on with the offense? Why are they reverting back to what we've seen from the majority of the season? And I think there are a lot of reasons for that. Green Bay is a good defense, and they're playing at home, and I do think, a lot of it's just the offense. I've never been in love with this offense. It's good when it's clicking because you have a lot of talent, but I think there are built-in problems with it. When it comes to Hurts, I think there's also limitations when it comes to Hurts as a quarterback. That doesn't allow the scheme and the play caller to do certain things. And the other issue is like, why again can't they get J.J. Brown involved more than he has? I mean, 2 targets through the first 2 drives and then nothing until that kill shot attempt at the end. And there were times that he was open. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say I know what Jalen, what the design of each play is, what his reads are supposed to be, this, that, and the other thing. I watched the film, though. There were times I felt the ball could have gone to him. And I think that's a bigger issue, because that's a bigger issue to me than this other question, because, look, they're not going to go anywhere unless they get A.J. Brown more involved in this offense. Thankfully, their defense played at a high level against an offense that seems to be struggling right now, but we'll see how it plays out. I know you guys have a job to do here, but the defense played really great in this game, and we hadn't even mentioned it yet.
Yeah, Jay, you were writing about Jalen Phillips. What a debut!
Yeah.
And what kind of impact did you see his appearance on the team make to helping out the secondary, Jeff?
Absolutely. This was based on one game. Exactly what they wanted from Jalen Phillips. It is just one game, but it's exactly what you want from him. To help with the pressure, to help the other guys, to free other guys up. they were, I don't think it was overwhelming, but it was the second most amount of pressures in terms of rate that Jordan Love and the Packers have seen this season. And, that says something. And then, they got 3 sacks. But it wasn't just that as well. It was what he was doing as an edge setter in the run. And I think it just goes back to, this combination of size and athleticism, and seems like a really bright guy, knows how to play the game. That's what they needed out of that spot. And, not a huge knock against the other guys, but they had one of the smaller units when it comes, when you look at those guys individually, and there have been injuries there, and that's been an issue. Nolan Smith, as tough as he plays, you worry about him because he's like 6'2", 240 pounds, and when you look at Phillips, he's 6'5", 263. I mean, this guy's, he's down. They haven't had a defensive end built like this in a long time. That's really what he is. I mean, he'll be listed as an outside linebacker, and he'll have to drop occasionally. But and it'll be interesting to see how Vic Fangio utilizes him. When he was in Miami, there wasn't much dropping for him. Typically you want when you have a 3-5 front, a multiple front, you want to be able to have that guy on the edge drop to give you variables to present something different to an offensive front and a quarterback. And look at that. And again, conversely, just like we were saying, okay, the Eagles' offense did perform well because they played a really good, physical, tough defense. As good as the defense played, I felt the Packers helped them out with the play calling and in their performance. So I don't want to go overboard. And the Lions are coming to town, and they're coming off a short week on the road. So this is a 1-week league. They'll have a tough test against the Lions, as we know. They have much more talent at their disposal than the Packers did.
Jeff, we appreciate the time as always, man.
Thanks, Jeff.
And we will talk to you again next week.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
There is Jeff McClain on the Comcast Business Hotline. Everyone's probably going, wait a minute. Did Jeff say let's talk the positives of the defense and not just about the offense?
Well, I mean, I understood. Look, it's everybody wants to be talking about a 7-2 team.
Yeah.
Including Jeff McClain.
Yeah.
He wants to talk about it. But unfortunately, there's a lot of things that just get roadblocked by certain people's performance.
All right, coming up next, Vegas tells you would rather be the Chiefs than the Eagles. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Dunks. Kelly, live.
Conshohockins. Congratulations to Noah in Conshohocken. Won the pair of tickets to see the Sixers take on the Clippers Monday night, next Monday, November 17th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sixers single game tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com/76ers. And we did not do today's headlines with Connor Thomas, which would have been brought to us by who?
Our friends over at Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com.
Noah means something in Hebrew that the Eagles could use right now. Peace.
Oh, I thought it was offense.
I don't think Noah means offense, but I'm sure Noah loved a good offense. Look, sure he did.
Look, the offense needs to get better. I saw on our YouTube chat talking about, hey, let's just focus on the defense. I would love to. And by the way, we did a lot yesterday.
Yeah, we did like all day yesterday.
If there is going to be anything that will hold back this team from getting to the goals that everybody set before the season started, whether it was getting to the conference championship or getting to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl, right now, the offense is the area of the field in which it's going to hold the team back. And the fact that they had 15 days because of the bye week, and that's the offensive performance that you saw, that's troubling. Now, look, the Packers' defense is good, so credit to the Packers. But did I think just 10? No, I thought maybe 20, 23.
Yeah, it really wasn't a good performance by any standard.
And to your point, you can probably score more points against the Detroit Lions.
I think you're going to score. I'm going to call right now. You're going to score a lot more.
Can they keep up with the Detroit Lions? Because that's another big
because our defense is better. They should be able to.
The Eagles' this is not a game in which you're just going to ask for Saquon to run the ball 25 times. Hurts is going to have to throw the ball downfield. A.J. Brown's going to have to be utilized in this game plan on Sunday against the Detroit Lions.
I got a lot more for it for the rest of the week, but Detroit away from home, Detroit at home, completely different offenses, completely different team. And the Eagles' defense, probably the biggest challenge that they've faced so far. So it's good, the Eagles' defense. So it's going to be it'll be an interesting game to break down as the week goes on.
All right. Vegas tells you you'd rather be the Chiefs than the Eagles.
That's crazy.
So we talked about this yesterday, that the Chiefs are the favorites to win the Super Bowl still, right? Which is wild, considering they're not even in the playoffs if the season were to end today. But pedigree obviously plays a role. It goes Chiefs, NFC, Bills, NFC.
And the Bills are dropping like a rock.
The order of the NFCs are Eagles, Rams, Lions, then it's the Bills, and then the Seahawks. So the NFC, as Adam Schefter said earlier, if there's anything to be concerned about, not necessarily in-house with the Eagles, it's what you're seeing around the rest of the league and the rest of the conference. Part of the reason why I point out the offense, because I feel like you should, is look at how some of these other teams are just motoring right now. Now, I understand you could say maybe some teams are peaking too early, right? Like we saw the Indianapolis Colts, and now that they're starting to play some more, talented opponents, they're either losing or the games are getting a little bit tighter.
But if we say it doesn't matter, win's a win, then you can't use a different standard for other teams.
Right, exactly.
The people who say a win's a win got to look at Indianapolis and go, well, they're winning.
Well, they're winning.
No issue.
Right. And so there are teams right now with the Rams and the Lions and Seahawks that are winning, but they're also winning a little bit more impressive.
Convincingly,
yeah. So,
but they're all losing more, or they have lost just as much.
To the Eagles.
They've lost
the Rams.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's just it is a little concerning. Like last year, you kind of held your hat on. Well, the Lions they can't keep winning, right? Because they're so banged up. That's not the case this year in the NFC. This year in the NFC, you're looking around, you're going, damn, there's a lot of good football teams in this conference.
Yeah, I didn't think it a few years ago either.
No, this has totally shifted. Now, part of it is Joe Burrow goes down, Lamar Jackson has been hurt for a little bit, and maybe things will even out in the AFC as we get deeper.
That's what made the Chiefs their run so much more impressive, is the fact that they were coming out every single year, except for the 1 year that the Bengals beat them. They're coming out every single year with those quarterbacks and those teams that you mentioned. I'm not saying the Eagles got lucky last year. They didn't. Right?
No.
It was a tough road for their own. But like the Lions being as hurt as they were last year played a major factor. Now, credit to the Eagles for finding a way to stay healthy. That is something that they have found, whether it's the preseason thing or whatever. The Eagles have found some sort of formula. I do think luck plays a role with injury. Like when the Lions everybody was gone pretty much last year.
Yeah, the Lions weren't doing anything wrong. People say, "Wow, they worked them so hard." That's a big knock on, Dan Campbell. When a guy twists his knee in a game, when a guy gets slammed and he breaks his collarbone, that's nothing that Dan Campbell's doing to them that causes that to happen. It just happens. It happens in a game. It happens, and it's the way things go.
Yeah, and so when I look at the Eagles and their struggles offensively, because, again, I understand there are people that want to put their head in the sand and just say they're winning.
Sure.
That's true. They are just winning. But there are also other teams in the NFC that are winning, and they're winning a lot differently. And you just wonder, all right, now look, the Eagles beat the Rams. Maybe the Eagles beat the Lions on Sunday.
Yeah.
Kind of think Sam Darnold stinks. Maybe
he does.
Maybe they beat the Seahawks in the playoffs.
Where are they in those odds? What's Vegas telling you about the Seahawks?
They're right behind Buffalo. That's the other NFC team. So it's Eagles, Rams, Lions, Bills, Seahawks.
Yeah, Sam Darnold stinks.
That's not what they're telling you. What they're telling you
They're
is
fourth in the conference.
What they're telling you is that the Eagles and the Rams would have home field advantage, and they don't think that Seattle's going to be as good on the road.
I think that also has a lot to do with playoff pedigree, which is what Sam Darnold doesn't have.
Coming up next, was it the worst trade of the decade? Maybe even more. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
An exciting win for your Sixers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers beat the Celtics 102-100 last night in another thriller between the two rivals. Justin Edwards had 22 points off the bench. It was his best performance of the year. And with time running down, Kelly Oubre had a big-time rebound and putback that would be the game-winning basket.
Back out top, Edwards. 3-point shot in the air. It's long, no good. Rebound, Oubre. Put back good. Sixers lead with 8.7 to go. Timeout, Boston.
And that would be enough to be the difference in that game. Great call by Tom McGinnis here on the Fanatic. Sixers are now 7-4. They're off till Friday. Joel Embiid, he could use that time off. He sat with right knee soreness last night. That's not the knee that he's been managing recovery from, but imaging revealed last night no structural damage, so he's day-to-day. The Eagles had some surprising news yesterday. It was reported newly acquired corner Jair Alexander is stepping away from football to focus on getting right physically and mentally. Nick Sirianni will meet with the media today at 12:20. He's got plenty to talk about. Flyers host the Oilers tonight at 7:30 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Tullamore Dew, when it's game time, it's Tully time. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
97.5 The Fanatic. So obviously today's been a big day about the Philadelphia Eagles and the report from our own Bill Colarulo and the comments made by A.J. Brown overnight. You'll hear those coming up in a little bit.
Important to note that the report from Bill Colarulo, if it was in any way inaccurate, Jeff McClain is as connected as any beat writer in the country.
Did not refute that, yeah.
Correct.
And Nick
so
Sirianni,
Jeff is hearing the same stuff,
Nick
obviously.
Sirianni speaks at 12:15.
I can't wait to hear Nick tap dance today.
Yeah, I'm curious, and I straight up asked Jeff, "What do you expect?" Because we know, like, that Eagles PR staff is tremendous.
They'll coach him up,
and it'll be interesting to see how he answers the questions. So that comes your way in the 12 o'clock hour. You'll be able to hear that with Middays with Marks. By the way, the firing of Nico Harrison took place yesterday. Does that confirm what we already knew, it being the worst trade in the decade, if not longer? The Dallas Mavericks trading away a fan favorite, and oh, by the way, top 5 player.
It's an understatement how much of a fan favorite, too.
Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I will say this, and I tweeted this out yesterday as well. Ownership signed off on it. So this dude, whoever the owner is of the Dallas Mavericks that's sitting courtside trying to, chum it up with some fans, you signed off on it, bro. Like, I understand that heads will roll from a decision like this, but you okayed it. And so the Dallas Mavericks fired Nico Harrison yesterday. Is it the worst trade? I can't think of a worse trade this decade. We're only five years in.
Recently? No. I can't think of anything worse.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely the worst.
It's terrible.
Like, it changed the franchise. Now, look, they lucked out because Adam Silver gave him the number 1 overall pick. They lucked out with
something seemed like it helped.
They lucked out with Cooper Flagg, but still, like, there was a love affair for Luka Doncic and they just gave him to the Lakers.
And what did they have? The 15th best odds to get the number 1 pick?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they won won a coin flip to get into the lottery,
and then
somehow they got the number 1 overall.
It's amazing
pick.
how these things happen in the NBA. Like the year that Patrick Ewing's coming out, they decide to come up with a draft lottery for the first time. There's a new thing we're going to do.
Yeah.
So we can make sure he ends up in New York.
Yeah. No, it's shady as hell, but Nico Harrison getting fired yesterday. But by the way it went about, did you guys follow this at all yesterday?
No.
Have you followed the Mavericks recently?
Oh, well, yeah, I know that everyone's like screaming at him and he
So there's fire
fans.
Nico chants during the game. Mama Flagg, Cooper Flagg's mom, retweeted something about they have to fire Nico Harrison.
Ooh.
Then the retweet.
Why would she be doing that?
She probably didn't mean to. She took away the retweet. They changed Nico Harrison's seat. He was sitting more in the middle of people. They moved him to the end of an aisle and actually brought over portable steps so that he could escape if necessary. They're like handling him like he's the Pope. But what was even more egregious yesterday, it was announced that he was going to be fired prior to him even entering the building. The Dallas Mavericks are expected to fire GM Nico Harrison at 10 a.m. Central Time. This was tweeted out yesterday at 9:20. So he wasn't. They're already announcing that they're going to fire him at a specific time.
I love it.
Somebody said he should have pulled a Costanza and just never went to work.
Just don't go to work.
Can't fire me if I don't show up.
Especially if he's hearing about it through social media.
Yeah, through Sham Sharania.
First of all, he's not the Pope. He's the dope.
Yes,
and
he is the
this
dope.
worked out like objectively the funniest possible timeline for this situation. Not only do you trade away this untradeable player for peanuts on a return, but then you keep your job. You fall ass backwards into the number 1 overall pick that's this franchise transformational player, and you probably wake up the day after the draft lottery saying, I made it. I somehow survived the dumbest move ever. You get Cooper Flagg, and then you get fired anyway.
Well, what was more egregious, and honestly, he should have been fired on the spot when he said after they drafted Cooper Flagg, now people are starting to see the vision. Those were his words.
Dude.
His vision was trading Luka and getting the number 1 overall pick when
you wonder how that happens.
When you had the worst odds to get it. Interesting. All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Radio Station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities.
Time now for the
in
Kincade
Philadelphia
Salciunas
sports, regardless of the
Re-Rack.
team, right? Joel Embiid misses yesterday's game. He has to get his knee checked up. The Phillies, it's free agency. They want to run everybody back. I'm seeing reports about Nolan Arenado being the big splash. So
that's
let's add
great.
another 35-year-old player. And then, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 7-2 and had a win. I don't want to say impressive win for the defense, impressive day for the defense, but ultimately just 10 points against the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles go to 7-2, and now we have more storylines to talk about. John Kincade, good morning.
I love the fact that we have a Wednesday, which, by the way, you and I both don't prefer Wednesday, and we've had tons of great stuff fall into our lap on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
We have a great football team, one of the best, and we have storylines that just keep coming in. And today, it's about vindication. It's about vindication, Andrew.
Yeah.
It's about being on the right side of history.
Well, I don't want to be on the right side of history
No, but we are.
sometimes.
We are, though. Now the veil is being lifted from all the happy talk. And it's being lifted.
So, all right, let's unpack some things here. So let's go back to Monday night, when the Eagles beat the Green Bay Packers. And there was the 4th and 7 decision with 30-some seconds left in the game, and the Eagles decided to go for it. Where everybody in the world was wondering, what the hell are you doing? Why not just punt to move the Packers back maybe to the 5, maybe to the 10, hell, to the 20 we'll take.
You will take a 15-yard gain in
Packers
in
have
space.
no timeouts.
Sure.
They have to get at least 35 yards at that point to try to kick a field goal.
It's a beautiful thing.
Windy conditions, tough time to play in. Jordan Love had gotten nothing going offensively, and the Eagles' defense had been wreaking havoc. Instead, we see the shot play from Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown. What we did not talk about much during the show yesterday was the camera angle that caught Nick Sirianni after the play shouting, "Why?"
3 times.
Why?
There you go.
And what you start to wonder is, what do you mean by why? Was Nick Sirianni upset with the play call? Was Nick Sirianni upset with how the play went? Or is he just complaining about the cold? I don't know. Why is he saying why?
No, he's saying why? Because when you have a plan and the plan isn't followed, you say why? What did you do that for? Why? You're going to say it to Cooper many times in his childhood.
Yes.
And then his teenage years, it's just going to become constant. So you're ready for it.
Our man, Bill Colarulo, who is best buddies with Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni, was on Unfiltered yesterday, and he talked about that decision to go for it, where, again, everybody in the world was wondering, what the hell are you guys doing? We were screaming why. Not only was Nick Sirianni screaming why, but now we may have an understanding as to why Nick was having those comments.
There were a lot of people, rightfully so, critical of the Eagles' decision to go for it on a 4th and 6 with only 30 seconds left in the game at the Green Bay Packers 35-yard line. When the ball got snapped and Jalen Hurts threw a bomb to A.J. Brown down the left sideline, I was shocked. I was furious. I said, that is a terrible decision. However, right before I came on the air, I have been told by multiple reliable sources that AJ and Jalen went rogue again. What? If you remember correctly, Seattle Seahawks game 2023, Sirianni came up to the podium, said it was his decision. We found out weeks later from AJ himself. Coach made himself look like a clown. That was me and Jalen going rogue. They did it again. And that is not opinion. That has been confirmed. Now, what I cannot confirm, if they didn't go rogue in that situation, what was the plan? Were you going to take a penalty and punt? Or did you just have another play called that wasn't that? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know AJ and Jalen went rogue again, and that is a problem, Ricky. That is a big problem.
Now, here's the deal. It's not always a big problem because we have celebrated the times, we have to be fair, when Jalen Hurts and the Saquon Barkley wheel route touchdown and Saquon's running off the field saying that wasn't even in the playbook.
Okay.
We celebrate that, right? Like, nobody complained because the result was a touchdown. But what's problematic is that play on the 4th and 6, 4th and 7 just goes against any
logic
when it comes to the sport of football.
Any understanding of football, time management, what you do in situational football. Two guys decided to do their own thing. And by the way, as you heard from the comments after the game from Devontae Smith, 1-11 doing their own thing. They do their own thing. They decide again. They decided they knew better. But there's more to this. And you got to it very much yesterday when we were talking about this. There's more to the idea when two players decide, nah, we're doing our own thing.
Yeah, they just don't really like the directive of the offense, whether it's Nick Sirianni's overall conservative approach or Kevin Patullo's specific play call.
And the call is Patullo's, or we've been led to believe the call in that situation is Patullo's. And there's nothing in the video, by the way, to indicate that he was being overruled on the mic or anything by, that Nick Sirianni was taking the wheel at that time.
Right.
So we have to assume that it was Kevin Patullo's call, and Jalen and AJ said, nah, we're not doing it his way. And we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
It is the frustration with a guy who is not ready for this job.
Yeah, look,
I mean, it's flat out.
They're 7-2, right? Which fantastic.
It is.
Right?
It's great.
They're very happy they're 7-2. But as I said yesterday on the show, and I we even talked about it with Andrew DeCecco, even though he was a little bit more positive about it. I'll break it down, John. We talked about this on post-show headlines. I'll try to find the exact number. There have been more bad quarters for the Eagles' offense than good quarters.
There is no question.
I know that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Despite them being 7-2, there have been more bad quarters. Again, back to the top of the league of 3-and-outs in the NFL after this past game against the Green Bay Packers. There's something to that. Now, you are very fortunate that you're 7-2, and hopefully you can find ways to turn things around. But they have to cut the crap now. Like, you got a major game against the Detroit Lions coming up. Major game. And we got to be on the same page. Now, here's the deal. It doesn't just stop there. So last night, what time was it? Do you have any idea?
1:30 in the morning, when almost probably everybody listening here, and I know everybody on our show, was asleep.
So 1:30 in the morning, A.J. Brown was on a Twitch stream with this guy named Janky Rondo. This is a world.
By the way, he's world famous.
Yeah, no, I know. This is a world that I'm not in. It's
and you play video games. Too. Right.
Watch me play video games, and I'm going to talk. But guys like Janky Rondo have friends and connections, and he has a guest like A.J. Brown on. And A.J. Brown was speaking with Janky Rondo, and we'll play you the audio. And first, I just want to say this right away. We are sensitive to mental health. We are. On this show, we are sensitive to mental health. And you hear Janky Rondo asking him about it, and A.J. Brown's response about football, we think. Here's the exchange.
Hey, but look, everything been good, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything been straight. You know what I'm saying? Mental good, kids good. You know what I'm saying? Wife good, everything?
Yeah, I mean, no. Where have you been?
No. I'm just checking out. You my dog. Like, I still got, you know what I'm saying? I gotta check up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like family good, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else, no.
Man, everything gonna click, bro. Chat, look. Everything gonna click, bro. Trust me.
Show. Oh,
Hey, bro. No, you got chat cracking up, bro.
Awesome. How you been? Struggling, brother.
All right, so in case you had a tough time listening or hearing that, I wrote down what was asked and what was said. Janky, I'll call him.
Yeah.
Mental good, kids good, wife good, everything. And A.J. Brown says no.
Have you been paying attention?
Where have you been? Yeah. No. Family's good. Everything else, no. Bleep show. I'm struggling, brother. Now, here's the deal. We don't know if they were talking football in that clip. That could have just been
No, we do.
Hey.
I mean, the way he sets it up, it's absolutely is. Look, he's saying a sheesh show. He's not talking about his HOA.
No, it could.
He's talking about football.
He could be talking about his life. Again, I don't want to.
No, because he says life is good, family's good.
I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible to mental health. I don't want to assume that it's necessarily just about football. I don't want to totally assume, but it's hard not to assume, to your point.
He's on there because of who he is.
It's hard not to assume considering the cryptic messages that have been happening throughout the course of the season. So, he'll be asked about this later on in the week.
Because, and again, if you're one of those people who says, here's Philly media again, stick a sock in it.
He's the one
that's
that's
saying. AJ, once again, making it all about AJ.
I saw somebody already on social media say something to the extent of, here we go, making something out of nothing.
Out of nothing. Everything else, no. It's a she show.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
it's everybody making it out to be nothing.
Never a dull moment. So coming up next, here's the deal. I will ask our question of the day for you at 610-632-0975. It's about those 7-2 Eagles, but all
powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done. With precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way. With a dedication to lasting quality. Trusted performance and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Oh no.
That's the sound of someone who's misplaced
my debit card.
Their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
John Marks and Ray Dunn. Reliable, enthusiastic, and informative. Philadelphia sports talk to help get you through your day. Listen to them every weekday on Middays with Marks from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. Coming up at 10, Middays with Marks. Now more of Kincade and Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The final hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, it's 9:13 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. So there's to calm down a lot of nerves. I don't feel good about this upcoming game against the Detroit Lions. Okay? I have not really hid that. Even on chest day Monday, even on chest day Friday last week, I was still looking ahead to the Lions game and not feeling all that great, which is why I needed to see them go in there to Green Bay and get the win. They got that. So the 2023 thing keeps on popping up. And looking at our YouTube chat during the re-rack there, people that heard this first segment for the first time this morning, which is why we do it, people wondering what drama is A.J. Brown causing. Well, when you hear that clip, when he's on the Twitch stream and he's talking about how I don't know if it's his life or football, but if he's talking football and calling it a bleep show, we all know what he's talking about. He's talking about the offense. He had 3 targets. After 15 days, they had the bye week, 15-day layoff, and he has 2 catches for 13 yards, and the Eagles scored 10 points in thankfully a victory.
And there are a lot of people pointing out on trying to do because they care, I think is why they're doing it.
Yes.
Trying to say, he could be talking about his mental health. No. He says when he's questioned, have you not been paying attention? Do you not see, dude, where you been? Are you not paying attention? Nobody would know what's going on in his head. It's what we can see publicly. It's the thing that he's talking about is the football. I know there's a lot of mental health advocates out there, and it's a great thing that we finally have people that are paying attention to that. But he's talking about football. When he says to somebody, dude, you haven't been paying attention? It's a she show. It's everything. Nobody knows what's going on in his head, so he can't pay attention to that. And he's not in the same room with this, Mr. Janky.
Mr. Janky.
As you called him earlier today, which I found funny.
And so I I see Miggs on our YouTube chat saying he's a Twitch streamer. No one cares. We do not care. Well, AJ Brown.
AJ Brown cares.
That wasn't the Twitch streamer saying it. It was AJ Brown saying it.
It's not. The
I don't
Twitch
care
streamer
if
didn't
it's
say it.
Twitch Action News 97.5 The Fanatic, or if he's on the corner of Broad and Patterson with a sign. It's AJ Brown's the one saying it. So I don't understand why that's like.
Look. I think honestly, I think you're getting too caught up in. There are people who are going to be contrary.
No, I
they're
got
just going to be. That is AJ Brown talking.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with
Brown
the big.
talking.
Whether he's talking to his priest, whether he's talking to a Twitch streamer, whether he's talking to the guy at Wawa. If it's documented and you hear the words directly from AJ Brown's mouth, and you were in some way trying to spin it, that it's not. Oh, you guys are making too much of it. He continually is making this an issue.
Yes.
And by the way, his whole team's going to have to be briefed about it today. And that's whole team. Before any player talks to the media, they'll be briefed about it. Let's stay away from that stuff. It's terrible that they have to deal with this stuff. And players don't appreciate it. They do not appreciate having to deal with this on a weekly basis.
So 2023's popped up. And look, this is, again, one of the reasons why. Right? Drama. There was drama the last time around, right? Sorry. Jason walked behind you, and I just saw the video.
What do you?
He gave you a salute.
Oh, he did? There he is. What's up, Chase?
It's on. Come on, bro.
Hey, lock it in there.
Come on, brother.
Yeah.
If the Eagles lose to the Lions, it will be hard not to think about the Niners game from 23. A team that has said a lot of, hey, we could have beaten them if we were healthy. And so if the Lions beat the Eagles, the next game will be very, very important, the Cowboys game, to try to calm some of the nerves. Because let's not act like 23 has not been talked about from inside the locker room this year, okay? Players have talked about it. If the Eagles lose to the Detroit Lions and then bounce back against the Dallas Cowboys, that'll make me feel a lot better.
Of course.
I'll still be worried about, all right, what if those two teams face in the playoffs, Eagles and Lions? But we'll get there when we get there. If they bounce right back and they beat the Cowboys, you're going, all right. So it's not 23 because we know that the Niners' loss sort of sent them down that spiral that they could never overcome. If they come right back out the next week and beat the Lions, you're going, all right, let's gear back up for the remainder of the season and get that 1 seed or 2 seed, whatever. It has to happen. They can't lose Sunday and then look horrible against the Cowboys.
I got to tell you right now, and you're going to think it's nuts because of how your opinion is on the game. I feel more confident about this week than I did last week. And last week was
glad that you do.
Last week was a crazy, tight to the end, last type of thing. I feel more confident going up against this team because I'm going to tell you right now, this offense, I think is going to have a night.
Okay.
I think they're going to have a night on Sunday night.
And I saw our man 215, Jay Philly earlier talking about how, the line's on the outside a little bit softer.
A little bit.
So
no, a little bit? No, there's a lot. Good observation there because there's a lot of it.
I just hope that I don't think the defense is keeping the Lions to 7 points. That's all. I will say that over and over again. If they do, it's the greatest game ever.
Marcus Mariota can lead you to 22 points.
I got you.
And you can lose to J.J. McCarthy, or you can lose to Carson Wentz, that type of things. You can do these things. I like what I see.
The Lions also scored 44 points in that game against the Commanders.
You. That's the Commanders' defense, which is one of the worst in the NFL, most 20-point losses.
I love your confidence because I don't have it for this weekend. Sorry.
You might get there by Friday.
No, I won't.
You might. You did last year. You might get there.
I won't. I'm telling you right now, I won't. All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line. Also, we got our 5 best minutes of Schefter. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers take down the Celtics. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers beat the Celtics last night 102-100. It was another great game between the two rivals, and Justin Edwards had 22 points off the bench. It was easily his best performance of the season.
4:45 to go. Maxey with it. Cross court. Edwards, another shot for 3 in the lead. Justin Edwards is on fire. He looks like Andrew Toney.
Oh, boy, did he. He killed Boston last night in that win. And with time running down, Kelly Oubre had a big-time rebound and put back. That would be the game-winning basket. Sixers are now 7-4. They're 2-1 against Boston this year. They're off till Friday. Joel Embiid was out last night with right knee soreness. Now, his left knee is the one that he's been rehabbing. So this is a new injury, but imaging revealed no structural damage, so he's listed as day-to-day. The Eagles had some surprising news yesterday. There was reported Jair Alexander is stepping away from football to focus on getting right physically and mentally. The Eagles had just traded a 6th-round pick to the Baltimore Ravens to acquire Alexander. Nick Sirianni meets with media today at 12:20. He's got a lot to discuss. Flyers host the Oilers tonight at 7:30. That game live here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Kincade
on Kincade Salciunas. So I'm trying to confirm some of this stuff.
What's that?
So Eagles Nation it's a great Twitter account. That's stats and opinion and also posting stuff, right?
Other people's work or their own?
No, I mean,
are they an aggregator or are they? Do they do their own work?
They have their own blog, but then they do some social content,
good.
and they posted the video of the AJ Brown on the stream. Yesterday.
This morning.
Yes, they've posted a few more clips. One, and I don't think this is that crazy. I've said this 100 times. I would never play an Eagles wide receiver in fantasy because you never know whose week it's going to be.
Okay.
But apparently at one point during the stream yesterday, he said, quote, if you got me on fantasy.
This morning.
This morning, 1:30 a.m.
Yes.
If you got me on fantasy, get rid of me, is a quote that happened. I don't think that's crazy because,
Nah. I mean, that's fantasy football. It's whatever.
No, but he's talking about, I know that I'm not going to be used. I know my production's not going to be there.
The next video
That's what he's saying.
posted, these have all happened within the commercial break. That's why my mouse wasn't working, and I was having a
you're having a little bit of a meltdown.
At one point, AJ Brown was playing Madden during this stream, and
now does he play against?
Yeah, he's playing against Mr. Janky.
So he plays against Janky.
So AJ threw the ball to himself in Madden, which that's got to be cool. If we're being honest. You're in a video game and throwing it to yourself. Quote, let's show him some love. Good things happen when you get touches.
Wow, okay.
This the only positive I got. And then after the game was over, he posted he had the stat line.
Oh, jeez.
This is the only highlights of damn football I'm living right now.
I'm all the way in on this storyline now. I love this.
Why are you in on dissension?
Because he's going to be – there's dissent already. There has been for weeks. But if we're at the point where he's using himself in Madden on a Twitch stream to get himself touches, we've gone past the absurd, and I can just laugh at it.
If that makes you smile.
Well, I guarantee you they're not laughing at Novacare.
Well, good thing I'm not on the team.
No, but I mean, it's but don't you want your team to be like
what,
the
7-2?
The other teams okay, the Rams are 7-2.
Okay.
The Seattle's 7-2. The Lions are 6-3. None of them are dealing with this nonsense.
I mean, Adam Schefter just told you. Everybody's dealing with something.
Has issues, but they're not dealing with this.
Not this specifically.
They're not dealing with public dissension against the coaching staff, against the quarterback, they're not dealing with any of that.
It's kind of sad, isn't it?
It is sad.
Like he
can't
like imagine like Joel Embiid for a second, right? Like Embiid's been hurt all the time, and he's like got to play 2K to like look at me. Like it's kind of sad.
Well, wait a minute though. When you play those video games, okay, now tell me this: they're based on the season, right? The season stats and everything like that, right? When you play, if you play as Joel Embiid,
they do the attributes. Yeah,
they don't go. Joel Embiid can play like if you're playing. You know how some people play seasons. My nephews play seasons.
Sure,
they don't. Embiid doesn't get to play in 70 games on Madden. Oh, I mean on on NBA
you
2K.
probably can play them all game, but there's stamina. There is a stamina.
Well, then it's got 20 minutes. It just craps out. Like I mean, at that point, and what you can't play them, and you can't. So if you decide to play 2 games in a night or in a week, you can't play them, right?
Yes, you can. In a video game, you can.
So they just make up stuff.
It's a video game. It's all made up.
Okay. I thought the stats were supposed to mean something, though.
I mean, the stats are, but you can do whatever you want.
So Embiid shows up healthy to play every game? That's amazing.
Yeah, that might be $1.
That could work. No, he does. I'm asking the question.
That might be $1.
$1
Does he show up to play? Here, he missed last night's game again. Now we got a new injury, by the way. New injury. So can he play? Can you do that? I'm asking a question because I really don't know. Can you play him in every game?
I haven't played 2K in some time.
Okay, I always thought the games were realistic, though.
They are.
Well, no, they're not, obviously.
You're about to be at $2.
All right, give us one quick text message, and then we'll play the 5 best minutes of Shefty.
All right, we're all over the place on the text line today. This texter checks in and says, when are we going to acknowledge that the Packers played great defense, but what stopped us from moving the ball was all the mistakes that the offensive line made by jumping offside every time we started moving the ball. We always look at things one way but miss what's in front of us. Offensive line play has been really bad all year.
I don't think the offensive line was all that horrible last week on Monday. I think Jalen played poorly Monday. Like, he played poorly. People just don't like to say it. because they love him. Jalen did not play well on Monday at all. Like, even
he did not have after having one of his best games.
Yeah, he did not play well on Monday. And so I understand that it's first thought is coaching staff, which I think that's where you start. If you're not Sirianni will tell you himself, got to put the guys in the best position, right? A.J. Brown only having 3 targets is not putting the team in the best position. Now Jalen has to target A.J. and has to throw it his way. And there were plays where A.J. Brown was open. I'm watching the game going, man, Jalen missed that one. Jalen had a bad day on Monday.
He had a bad day. And it was after one of his best performances. And one thing I know about Jalen Hurts is that from watching him, when people are doubting him or people are calling it out or people are not expecting a lot, much like the Pittsburgh game last year, he tends to ball out the next game. So I'm hoping that's going to be the experience.
They're going to need him to on Sunday. All right, earlier today, our man Adam Schefter joined us. Here's the best 5 minutes. Shefty, good morning.
What's going on, guys?
Another day in Philadelphia sports. The offense is once again filled with our own Bill Colarulo reporting that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts went off script on that 4th and 6 where everybody in the world was wondering what the hell are they doing chucking it up downfield in that situation. Turns out the players went off script. Shefty, I don't know, like when you watched that game Monday night, I know you guys did with ESPN, do you come away with that feeling great that the Eagles got that important win, or do you have a lot of questions about this team?
I feel like they won the game in Green Bay. It's two of the top seeds in the NFC. It's in Green Bay. They won the game. I don't care if they won by 3 or 30. I don't care that they went off script or stayed on script. They won the game. They're sitting there with the number 1 seed in the NFC. Don't care. Don't care. I know you're going to try to find something with the drama and whatnot, but it doesn't matter. Like, they're doing what they should be doing. They're winning games.
Wait a minute. Wait.
At some point,
try to find something. We got A.J. Brown going off again. We have 2 players that the head coach after the game takes the blame for the fourth down call, which Troy Aikman just slaughtered on the ESPN broadcast. Yeah. And we're not finding stuff, Adam. It's being created.
Well, they're creating it themselves, but they're winning. So you can have the stuff and you can have the win. I'm okay. As long as they're winning, the stuff is fine. It is what it is. Like, they overcame it.
Have you heard anything about said issues and handling things in-house that have caused any sort of issues within NovaCare? And I'm not just talking about A.J. Brown on Twitch in the middle of the night. Just over the course of the season, the terminology of predictability has come out from some of the key players. This is not the first time A.J. Brown's been upset about the offense. Have you heard that there have been any issues within the Eagles at this point?
I have not heard that, but it doesn't matter that I haven't heard that because every single team has issues. Every single team. They're not immune to them at 7-2. There may be fewer of them in a winning locker room and a team that is the number 1 seed in the conference. But there's not a team in the league right now that doesn't have issues. So, I'm not trying to diminish it, but every team is going through their own battles and their own issues. You're in mid-November now. We're past the halfway mark. Some teams are physically challenged with injuries. Some teams are short on talent. Some teams have nobody is just waltzing through the season on their way to the playoffs in the conference championship game. Nobody.
But what have you heard since the report that Jair Alexander decided to step away from football? I know Jay Glazer said yesterday to right himself physically and mentally before deciding on his future. What's the latest you've heard on Jair Alexander?
This was going on over the weekend, and I think obviously it entered into why he didn't make the trip, and I think it was a surprise to those involved. But look, he's not right, and he needs to take the time to see if he can get right, and so he stepped away. And the most important thing is that he does get right. But I think the Eagles obviously were a little surprised and disappointed at the timing of it.
Now that they played a game and we saw Jalen Phillips be an absolute beast on the field, what were people around the league saying about the Eagles' defense now?
Well, he looked great. I mean, that's what you want and expect from that kind of guy. And honestly, I think that you had a feeling he was going to play that way when he talked about the fact that getting traded to Philadelphia was the greatest thing that's happened to him in his life. When somebody's saying that, that tells you that they're all in, right? And if they're all in, you're going to get the best of them. And they got the best of Jalen Phillips. And I would imagine they'll continue to get the best of Jalen Phillips, in part because he's so happy and in part because there's a lot at stake. He's headed into a contract year. So they get the best of all worlds. And that goes back to the trade. Some of these things work out just the way you want, and some of them don't.
Last year was the year that Everybody thought Detroit was going to be the team till they faced all those terrible injuries. Do you think they've really had this one circled to make a statement against the Birds here on Sunday?
I don't think I think Detroit's the most dangerous team in the NFC. That's my opinion from watching these teams. I think all things being equal, they're the best team in the NFC. And if Philadelphia beats them on Sunday night, I'll say to you, boy, that was impressive, and they really showed me something. But that's the team that, if I'm the Eagles, that might be the team that worries me the most, except the Rams are unbelievable, and the Seahawks are really good. The Buccaneers are pretty good. Some really good teams in that conference. Really good. So to get to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to be on your A game or you're not going to get there. So all these little things that they're going through doesn't matter to me very much right now. They got time to figure it out, sort it out, get on the same page before the playoffs begin. They're going to win the division. That's not in question. Question is, can they be the number one seed, which they currently are heading into Week 11? A chance to do that. I don't know whether they're going to be able to do it or not, but I do know that conference is loaded with great teams.
Shefty, we appreciate
Thanks,
the time as
Adam.
always, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Guys, have a great week. Enjoy the game Sunday night. It should be a great one.
All right, there's our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter. Jared Goff was on the Detroit sports station, 97.5 The Ticket.
Great station.
He was asked about Eagles.
Uh-oh.
They're well known for being the meanest fans. I'll have to have some thick skin when I'm in there, so none of their insults can really hurt me.
Uh-oh. Sticks and stones.
All right, coming up next, speaking of the Detroit Lions, John, I need to unleash you. Can you be annoying enough when it comes to rules to get something done for the city of Philadelphia?
I'll try.
I will unleash John Kincade on the NFL League office next.
Oh, good.
It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Whether you're at the job site, sitting in your cubicle,
sticklerness of following the rules here.
Okay.
Okay.
It may help us.
I'll weaponize anything against anyone. Let's roll.
Well, it depends. Who am I going up against?
How about Amon-Ra St. Brown
Oh, that's good.
and the Detroit Lions?
I
love
like you in
this.
that matchup.
No, not for a hands fighting matchup, but for maybe John getting Amon-Ra suspended for Sunday's game against the
Ooh.
against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm all in. Tell me what we need to do
So Deron Payne, defensive tackle
with the
for the Commanders,
commodes. Yes.
is suspended this weekend after there was a video that showed him punching Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
Now, by the way, Javon Kinlaw, remember he was the guy that put his hand on the official?
Sure.
Yes.
Do you know that they did not kick him out because they didn't want to kick out players on back-to-back plays? That's what the reasoning was.
What? What? Wait a minute. Is that officially quoted? Or is that somebody speculating?
This was from Mike Florio. Commanders defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw wasn't ejected for making contact with an official on Sunday. One play after teammate Deron Payne was ejected. Per source, the officials didn't want to eject a player on consecutive plays. That's nuts. If that's true,
Soft.
That's freaking insane. So what you're saying is, like, I could drop kick somebody, and then you could drop kick somebody. I'll take the ejection, but then you also can do it, and the refs will be like, well, we can't do it.
I think we
Okay,
found a
that's-
loophole.
Okay, that's crazy.
I've never heard that in my life.
No, I've never ever heard. Now the thing
Think
is,
about
though,
that. Jalen Carter got suspended for spitting on Dak. Somebody could have pooped on Dak, and they wouldn't have been ejected.
Why you got to go there? The second spitter joke was right there.
I'm going to just tell you that is that still sounds like he's speculating.
Per source.
Like
The whole story on it.
Yeah.
You just have to say per source. And
Well, I would think that the Commanders would be talking about it publicly if that happened. Like there'd be talk about it publicly. There'd be talk about that being a case. Like there'd be somebody would be chatting and at a podium being pissed about it if that was the true story.
yeah, here's per source with knowledge of the situation. The officials did not want to eject a player in consecutive plays. This is a story I'm reading. Of course, that shouldn't matter. If a player does something for which he should be ejected, he should be ejected. That fact that someone else was properly ejected one play earlier is irrelevant. It's a bad precedent for officials creating essentially open season on the play after a player is ejected. He
Okay.
expects Kinlaw to be fined. Now, back to what I'm really trying to get at here. So, Deron Payne, after finding out that he will be suspended, he posted a video on his Instagram of 2 or 3 plays earlier
Of the punch, right?
of Amon-Ra punching him
Yes.
right in front of an official. An official watched Amon-Ra St. Brown extend his arm, hook. This wasn't like put his hand on his face and pushed him. Hooked his helmet. No flag thrown somehow. Separated the two. And then a few plays later, Deron Payne hits Amon-Ra and gets ejected and suspended.
Well, it's always the guy who responds, right? How long have we been saying that?
Oh yeah, but it
guy
wasn't.
responds-
It wasn't
the
an
guy
immediate
responds.
response. It was a delayed response. So can you, John Kincade, you have contacts around the league?
Yeah.
Can you get to the league office and say, hey, Amon-Ra should be suspended too?
Wait a minute. Would this fall under, can you tell me this? Do you believe this would fall under the purveyance of the Rules Committee? Because I do know personally the chairman of the Rules Committee, Rich
Sure.
McKay. Would this fall? But I don't think they rule on suspension.
No, I think it might be the commissioner's office.
Yeah, and I don't really
What about
have
Big John
anybody-
Runyon?
I don't have a John Runyon contact.
I think I do.
You do? Well, then there you go. Leave it.
Should I text John Runyon and say, hey, yo, you see this? See this video of Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Here, hang on now.
If this falls Rules Committee, I could try to sway something.
Let's call off the dogs a little bit here
Why?
because I do not want Amon-Ra St. Brown suspended for this game.
Oh, well, I want to get them at their best.
What?
Nope, not that. But I don't want there to be this whole we're trying to get one of their better players unable to play against the Eagles.
You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
Yeah, but dopes like us, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
But hey, they can pull our audio too. I don't want to sound soft heading into this matchup. We'll
What are they
take
going
you at your
to Is
best.
Dan Campbell going to play clips of Kincade and Salciunas in the locker room for the Lions?
No, but
Well,
the
it could
last-
help.
Listen, yeah,
Could help.
We've
Yeah,
been,
maybe.
the Eagles listen to us. Why not the
Yeah,
Lions?
exactly. I'm not worried about I'm not worried about that, but Connor, I think that is a valid point.
It sounds just a little soft if we're trying to get their best player suspended for something it sounds like the kid who says, "Hey, teach, we had homework. Why don't you check it?"
I would feel a little bit better about Sunday's contest if Amon-Ra was not on the field.
Of course you would, but screw it. We're 7-2, defending Super Bowl champions. Where's your chest day at?
I told you. I did
No,
chest
he
day
already
last
said
week.
chest
Dude,
day's
I've
done.
been saying since last Friday. The
Wait,
Eagles,
you do once a week?
I don't think the Eagles are winning Sunday.
No, he's sitting and eating Oreos on the couch on Sunday.
Yeah, this is cheat week.
This is cheat
Like,
week
I
for
don't-
him. Because I got to tell you, I see so many reasons, and I'll give them over the next 2 days. I see so many reasons why you should be really pretty confident that you can put on a great
Look, I
show
helped you out
against
last
the
week.
Lions.
I helped you out
you tried
last
to, and
week.
you did a good job.
So hopefully
you moved the needle a bit, but you didn't get me to be where I said, yeah, I feel it. And the game played out exactly as I thought. We were dying till the last second.
Oh, I didn't think
in
the
that
Eagles
game.
would only score 10 points.
Well, we did, though.
By the way, you interested in Byron Buxton?
No.
Chapter 15?
No. Now, wait a minute. Now, there is a dollar comment in here that I will refrain from. But no, I don't want Byron Buxton, who's going to play 70 games, 80
According to
games.
reports, Byron Buxton is now willing to waive his no-trade clause. Remember during the All-Star break, I'm not going anywhere. Minnesota's my home. My family. I don't want to get traded.
No.
And now all of a sudden, a couple months go by, he goes, yeah, you know what? Maybe Minnesota. Maybe it's because it's cold there right now.
Or
yeah.
Maybe
I
probably
abso-
freezing. He goes, you know what? It would be nice.
I
somewhere else."
absolutely want no parts of Byron Buxton.
Vikings lost to the Ravens.
Yeah, you know what? He's probably thinking
they're down in
let me
Minnesota.
get out of
By the
this
way,
place.
Byron Buxton went for a career high games this year. 126.
Close.
I'm sorry. He had 140 back a decade ago. But since then, 28, 87, 39, 61, 92, 85, 102. He
Well,
really
willing,
pushed.
He's willing to waive the no trade.
He really
I'm
pushed
interested.
himself. Yeah.
Well, he's your center fielder.
You know
I'd
what,
kick the
though?
tires.
It's strange, though, is that menstrual cramps were listed as, for a couple games missed.
Stop.
I mean, come on now. This is a guy who doesn't show up to play.
He would be the best center fielder that this organization has had.
But he doesn't
in
show up to play. You can't have it.
however many years.
We don't want another. You want a guy who is there who could be playing 135.
John, you're creating a player, when we talk about the Phillies, that does not exist, that you want to just show up to play for this team. You got to make concessions. If it's a guy who might be injured for part of the
Wait a
season.
minute, you saying there's no center fielders that could play 135 games?
No, there are, but they're not as good as Byron Buxton.
Yeah, but I can't have him
It's
for
just,
81,
dude, no,
90.
It's the kid. Look, I would look.
And that's who he is, and
If
he's
I'm-
getting older.
If I'm playing MLB The Show, I like Byron Buxton. I'm not. It's real life.
Because you're allowed to play him in real life, pretend like he shows up.
Unfortunately, he does get hurt a lot.
Come on now, you can't even be considering that.
He's not. Oh, I'm absolutely considering that. You're not just shutting down.
I'd consider it.
You're
It's
crazy to not consider
You're
it.
gonna play. No, I'm not playing for a guy who averages playing around 60% of your games.
John, right now, if a ball's hit the center field, nobody's there to field it.
What? But you do have a guy. You have a guy that you're bringing up from your AAA who absolutely was one of the greatest seasons in AAA history that never got a call up to the major leagues.
Unless he plays left field, and Byron Buxton's your center fielder.
And who's paying the 60, 70 games he misses?
Phillies.
So then we're right back to it. No. And he's not cheap.
No, he's not.
So no.
They got him on a decent deal, but it's not. It's
Decent.
not one of the $300 million.
No, but
because he's not healthy.
And there are guys that can play center field for you, can make trades. Teams are allowed to make trades.
All right, question, real quick.
Yes.
Tell us about life-saving cancer research, and then we have to get on the record with something.
Hey, check out Window Nation. Make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. Do it today at 97.5thefanatic.com/AACR. They are the best in cancer research, supporting the people who do it. And like Mert and myself, cancer research saves lives.
All right, I need you to put this on your Excel spreadsheet. This is probably
Okay.
the most important on-the-record thing that we do. We got 2 minutes.
All right.
Yesterday was the first teaser, not trailer, but teaser of Toy Story 5.
Okay.
And Woody's there. How do they tell the story that he gets back? Because if you remember Toy Story 4, he stayed at the circus.
Spoiler.
No, I don't remember.
You never saw Toy Story 4?
Bro, I haven't seen him since like 2.
All right. He stayed at the circus. He didn't go back home with the other friends. But the teaser of Toy Story 5, he's there in the very beginning. How?
When is there a circus? I don't know what any of this
Oh,
means.
that's your fault for
So
not
you
knowing.
didn't watch the 4, I guess, but
How does he
I'll
get
have a
back?
kid.
Get on the record. How does he get back? Because it's the beginning of the movie. It's not getting Woody. It's
Yeah.
Woody. It's
what?
It's
Yeah,
not.
what?
It's not Toy
That's
Story.
not a
5.
kids movie.
This gone sideways
That's
on me
not
quick.
a kids movie. That's
It's
that may
not
be in
Toy
your
Story
adult
5
collection.
Finding Woody. It's
Come on.
They're fighting the iPad kids, which I'm really excited for this
It's
because
called Finding Woody. It is not.
oh, it's not.
good, okay.
How does he get back? Does he just do they mail him? Like, does he get in an Amazon truck and he's there?
See, that's where these storyline holes. It happens.
Big Dom rescue mission.
Big Dom. Okay, that's a good one. Johnny, how does he get back home?
He comes back from the dead.
But he wasn't dead.
How do we know? Maybe he died and came back. It
What
happens
is this,
on the
Sixth
soaps.
Sense?
It happens on the soaps.
I'm gonna guess that the girl Bonnie goes, "Wait, where's Woody and Bo Peep?" They turn
Who the
around.
hell's Bonnie?
It's one of the kids. They turn around. They go get it.
And what kid is named Bonnie?
That's a nice name.
But what kid is named Bonnie? Your grandma may be Bonnie. You know,
Hey,
giving
man, Bonnie's
you
a nice-
Werther's original.
Bonnie's a nice name.
Yeah, but they're not giving you no kids named Bonnie.
Everybody
What's
have
it,
a great
1950?
rest of your day. Middays with Marks and Jason Martinez in studio today here on 97.5 The Fanatic.